Well, good afternoon. I just realised I've got my house. This is a hoodie I've had for about 10 years at least, and I wouldn't be seen dead in it, right? But I'm in loads of videos wearing it because I wear it as like a third layer. Isn't it a funny old thing? It's like I have to try my best to keep warm, for health reasons. But I'll have 3 layers on before I put the heating on. And it's not because, I am eligible for the winter fuel allowance if they hadn't abolished it. But, so I could have the heating on. But then I wouldn't have any money for smokes, would I? No one's ever so poor, I think, not to have the heating on, but it's what one would sacrifice. I don't know, sometimes though, I take the dog out at night and get a bit of a chill in my bones when it's bloody freezing outside, then it's a matter of, what? Heating's going on for an hour or two here. And then I've got this thing you can plug in that's like a mat with a wire on it that you plug in and you just put it on your lap. My dog thinks that is fantastic, the greatest thing ever invented. He thinks it's wonderful. So yeah, it's like this time of year you will see me in my sort of house coverall. I've got this one and a black one, and it's like they're my third layers, and because they're a third layers, they're a third layer, they don't get so stinky. So it's a matter of, yeah, you can wear a third layer if it's just for in the house and you're not going to be seen dead in it. You can wear the same jumper all week. You have my permission. But doesn't it go well with my green headphones? Now, I wouldn't have picked these. They were a Christmas gift. But they're a very, very good set of, you know what I mean? I've never tried the microphone that's built into these, but I assume it's every bit as good as the one I'm using. Good kit. Anyway, we're talking to my mother today on the way home from the company shop. And I mentioned to her this Sam Kerr. See, my mother's retired now. So once upon a time, she was too busy to pay attention to anything. Well, now my parents are retired. They've, in essence, fallen into the same routine as I have, where they sat there with the tablets, eating the breakfast, much in the same way as what a person might have once read the paper. So it's like, my parents are now into this, into this internet sort of media. They don't get what they know from driving home in the car anymore from work. They are taking an interest. And I mentioned this, I said, did you that verdict with that Sam Kerr got off without mouthing off? And she went, and then she started telling me things about it that I did not know. And she's like, it's worse than that. And I'm like, what? She's proper run her mouth. And because I was, in that last, I got the gist of what had happened weeks and months since, but hadn't seen this, I hadn't had all the available information, but I'm like, I'm following it, and I'm following it in court as to, well, look, this incident in the car has been like taken away, and it's now just become all about her mouthing off. She's in trouble. This criminal damage, which she's guilty of, she paid. They went with restitutive justice or something and got that to go away. But this charge that you can watch her talk her way into is what she went to court for, right? And there was no need for it to happen. Absolutely no need for it to happen at all. She pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed until she got it. She talked her way, right, into a fucking charge, and then went full in with lawyers. I want a jury trial. And the lawyer has managed to get the jury to side with her by framing this as being about race and discrimination. And imagine how afraid she must have felt, and actually managed to sway a jury to get her off with what is one of the most open and shut cases of this attempting to obstruct justice and stuff like that. That's mixed in. That's the thing too. She's trying to pervert the course of justice as well. The story doesn't stack up, and it's like something I'd, in essence, speculated on as to where it fit that her girlfriend had pretended to call the cops, and then that prompted the taxi driver to call the police himself on them, because you have to. And he really called the cops, and then he really took them to a police station. And then as they were pulling up at the police station, one of them kicked his window out. I'm like, shit, I thought it was just all about having fucked the thing with puking on it. No, the puke was in the back seat, which is even worse. And the hysterical American girl kicked a passenger window until it shattered. Now, that takes an incredible amount of force to do. That's not something you can do without... it's like you have to, in essence, get it bouncing to break it. No mean feat. So she would have been one hysterical bitch in his car, right? So taxi driver's doing a job. Next thing he's got him puking in his car, and then he's like, "Well, that's one thing." And then between themselves, when he's like, "Lock the doors," I said, "No, we're going to sort this out. You're not just getting out and running away. You're kidnapping us." And then be mouthing off and say, "You're kidnapping us. We're calling the police." And he'd be like, "Well, the only thing I can do is call the police too." So he drives them then to the police station. And on the way to the police station, they kick out his passenger window. Or the American girl does. And it's like, it's not the world's fault that you two are both psychopaths and you just bounce off each other and live in a state of fantasy. It's no one else's fault. And you can't hold the world accountable because you're insane. It doesn't work that way. But for her it has, obviously. But her effort, right, to win this court case and prove that she was right, well, unfortunately, what that's done is it's put this video into public circulation. Now, if she'd have been reasonable in any way and had any notion of what the world is or what the future might hold, she would never have pursued this case, because that meant that this would come out. The copper involved as just in losing, he gets the ultimate revenge on this person for the way she's run her mouth. Because the entire conversation is on the internet. The whole thing. And now this is a thing where I'm thinking, I've watched it and I'm thinking, should send this to people who I collaborate with who are into psychology. What? Yeah, it's a very, very good, if you like, training video. If you were a therapist and you were working with people who were exceptionally, who'd been traumatized by people who were in essence exceptionally difficult in the abusive sort of narcissistic sense, this video would provide a kind of validation as to it is a thing. It's not just that one person who behaves this way. This is a thing. This is a tremendous, this could be a video, could in essence be a therapeutic tool as to, are you familiar with this kind of behaviour? Is this the kind of circular reasoning and arguing you face on a daily basis? Does your wife talk like this? Do you know people like this? So it's like this long version of it. Somewhere along the line, my mother's ended up watching this. And she was like, yeah, she reminds me of so many people. And we all know what these, full nutters, proper nutters, you can't reason with them. and they're always right, and they have to be right, and it's you's got a problem, and their answer to you is attempted character assassination, threats, and she can't be wrong. And then when pressed, first it's about, basically it's because they're not being believed because they're women, and they're saying, look, there's two of us and we've got the same version of the story, but the story keeps changing. Because she claims we called 911 and the police hung up on us. You dial 911 in this country, you don't get through to the police. But that's what she did when she convinced this driver that she had pretended to speak to somebody on the phone. No fucking phone call happened. But then they come in this place saying, we called you and it's your fault that there's no record of the call. We dialed 911. And actually relied on that lie. We called the cops first. It's like, we didn't speak to anyone because I don't know what happened. I wouldn't do it just to fuck around, just in case there's a redirection of some kind. But I'm quite sure if I was to take my phone and dial 911 in the UK, I'd probably get some message saying you've dialed the wrong number. If you were in that situation as to where I think I'm being kidnapped in the UK, as everyone in this country knows, the number to ring is 999. Now you'd think, and is this me being weird, but if you were from another country, a foreign land, that one of these idiots is American, the other one's Australian, right? They don't have the same phone number for calling the cops. You think if you were going to another country, you'd find out what the emergency telephone number was, just in case there's a fire. You think it might be something that you would pick up on if you've lived here for a year or two, like Sam Kerr. You think you might have picked up what the telephone number of the emergency services is. You think just along the line, along the way, seeing it somewhere, well, that's a reflection of someone you're fucking dealing with. I think if you don't know what the phone number is for the emergency services, I have no words for it. I don't know what that is. I'd make it my business to know. I would. And I'd take it for granted, but I'd make it my business to know, and then I'd know, and then it'd be a matter of, okay, I know now. It'd just be a snippet of information I'd pick up somewhere along the fucking way. And I can't imagine it not being that. But the way these two fucking mouth, we dialed 911, it's like, what does that mean? The cops are like, well, we've got no record that any from your numbers, anyone's rang the police. But we called, your system must be wrong. They were rude to us and put the phone down. And it's like, do you know how ridiculous that is to say that a 999 operator just hung up on someone and give it like whatever? Do you know how ridiculous that is? It's like if a 999 operator set about doing that, how many times would they get away with doing it before they ended up in a lot of trouble? Once, maybe. There's probably everything they do, every second's recorded when you dial 999. That is like they are set up to move. And they don't put the phone on at anyone. If you accidentally somehow dial 999 or, right, something happens and the call gets cut off, they ring you straight back. And spuriously calling 999 for no reason in this country can get you into trouble. You can talk your way into going to court. You can talk your way into going to the police station if you spuriously use that service. Never happens. Women are always ringing up saying, I want you to come and pick up my boyfriend. People, it's a thing, you know, it does. People do try to abuse it, right? I've lost an argument and been caught wrong having spent all the money. Can you help me? Is something the police have to deal with. They never get in trouble for that. But if you dick around, in theory, you've committed an offence. To hoax the police and say, there's a bomb, or you're in deep shit for that. If you hoax the police and send an ambulance or a fire engine somewhere, ooh, you're in a lot of trouble. So, this being the case as to where the 999 line is sacred, you should never call. If you call that number accidentally, expect to even get a visit from the fucking police. Even accidentally you call it, something will happen. Because as soon as you've hit 999 and got the state involved, you've put it on them and they're willing to take the responsibility even if you're not. You don't get to call them and then call them off. So it's like these idiots are on the back foot because in their imagination they've called the cops first, but they didn't know the phone number and didn't speak to anyone, just pretended to. But in their mind that makes it so the police are their instrument, not the instrument of the taxi driver who's explained the situation to the police. This is insane that you would fight this charge that she's up against, and then the repercussion of that be, it doesn't matter what the verdict is, kid. You've provided the world with about 33 minutes of comedy gold. If you're one of them people who can stand to watch The Office when it's cruel as fuck and just cringe, right? You might enjoy this as a ridiculous conversation that goes around in circles. You might enjoy it.
$500 because of the damages. We couldn't get out. But we couldn't get out.
No,
like,
we could not get out of the car. Listen to the recording.
Okay,
we want to go to court. Listen to the recording because I've got all the people in the world.
Okay,
and what's your name?
My PC level.
Yes, and like that's what I'm saying. Do you believe a taxi driver?
Are you doing this just
over
because of your job?
Is this
because of my job?
Are you doing?
But
Are
why
are
are you
like,
saying you have to pay £800 or £50?
Well,
he would not let
because-
us go.
Right, if you listen to me, rather than talking at me,
Okay, alright.
as it stands,
Let me listen for
what
1
you've
second.
told me doesn't substantiate any offences. Tell me the offence that he's committed.
He would not let us go.
And
He
tell
was,
me
he
the
was
offence.
trapped.
He was
His
holding
taxi
us
driver.
against
He
our
was
will.
holding us hostage. He was holding us
Babe,
hostage.
babe, he
But-
was holding us against our will
But he's driven you to a police station.
because we couldn't get out. He wouldn't let us
After,
out.
can you please track his surroundings after how long? Please, I will stand by.
She thinks that the police have got some kind of computer room in that office they're using, right? Because that's what that place is. It's not a place that's got cells and shit. It's not even a place that's got proper facilities for actually interviewing someone. It looks like it's a cop shop front kind of police station. She thinks that they've got some kind of central computerized thing, like in Demolition Man, where they can like put the registration number of the guy's taxi in some kind of master computer, and it can track everywhere he's been. They think that's real. They think that's a thing. She says, just pull up the guy's tracking info. There's no such thing. That's something off a television program or something that you might have something like that in an office. You know, when everyone's got a key fob for opening doors. You might have it there, but it doesn't happen it doesn't exist in real life. Love, the thing that you've asked for that will prove that you're right and that you were kidnapped and driven around for 15 minutes doesn't exist, love. I'm sorry. And she keeps insisting to the police that they go and get this tracking info, and they keep telling her that's not a thing. It's not real. It doesn't exist. Will you please believe us that we don't have the kind of technology that you think we have? Can you please take our word for it? Well, no, why should I believe you? It was one of you guys who raped and murdered that Sarah Everhard. How do I know I can trust you? Oh, expect more.
That. I will stand by
That's
that.
fair enough.
What area?
He's been told to drive to a police station by another, when he's phoned police, he's been told to drive to the nearest police station.
Okay,
Where is
then
the
fine.
Which is what he's
Fine. File a police report.
Well, we're going to have to file.
Yes, file a police report. I've got fucking Chelsea going on it because that is even if it's fucking 5 meters or 10 meters. He did not. He was absurd. And I will have the whole recording. We were begging to get out of there.
Yeah,
We were begging to get out of there 15 minutes before.
I will have.
I want to see the video that she threatens these cops to put out into the world. I want to see it. It never appeared. I would like to see her video that she apparently took of this entire event. Her video. I'd like to see it. Just saying. Where she's threatened to, I'm as big as the world, mate. I'm massive. I can bring down the whole world crashing down on you because I'm a superstar. I've got all these people online who'll back my play. All this shit talk. She gets to mouthing off. It's good. This.
Have the best lawyers. Don't worry. Don't worry. If these two white men are gonna
It's not. It's not their fault. I don't think it's actually their fault. I think that this guy has like cornered them into something. Like,
I've literally been outside with him for about 5 minutes when my colleague was talking to him.
and what did he
of
say?
course
Do you think that that's fair? Like, we were trying to get out of his cab.
we
for
were
15
trying
minutes.
to get out
Like, we
of
wanted
his
to
cab.
go home. Like, we were just like,
Did
please
you-
let us out.
did you
and
call police?
we'll get-
What?
Did
They
you
call
call
police as well.
We
yeah.
called police as well.
Please.
Oh, I can't. I'm
We called police as well. We were held hostage in that cab.
Right.
But you guys, I feel
You
like you
guys
guys are
believe
listening to
him.
him.
No. I'm not believing anyone. Right.
We keep
Well,
telling you.
We called the police
I've only dealt
too.
with him, and I haven't spoke to you. Right. But if you've called police, have you got a reference number for it?
Yeah.
Watching.
You don't mess about.
When
Look,
did-
we're
when did-
both
when did you call-
internationals, so we don't know the police number. I called.
Is it 911 or
Right.
922? What is it? Like,
Go to your own server.
Someone's pretended to call the cops and spook that guy into calling the cops. Haven't
but
they?
are you guys just getting
Help me, I'm
because I
being
kicked
kidnapped.
the door open because I was trying to get out? Is that
Well,
what is
So
going to
I
make you guys
spoke
like
to
get me in trouble?
112. I don't know who that is for one.
That'll be a number that takes you to the police. Yeah.
Yeah, so we spoke to 112.
Yeah. And if they text you a reference number,
I have no
have a look
idea.
at your text messages. They should text you a reference number.
But
We
you guys
spoke
have
to
to
112.
understand when I heard from you guys, I stopped calling because I was like, oh, like
Is there any reason why you started taking your hostage and then?
Good that, wouldn't it? Have you ever called the cops? You know, just on the basic number where it's not an emergency. Depending on the time of day, about this, if I was to ring, if you were to get a reason to ring them now, you could expect to be on hold for 25 minutes, half an hour. And you only ever find out that that's a thing when you need to call the police. When you need to talk to the police, when it's not an emergency. But you need to talk to the police, then you find out about the police. And you ring them up and it's like, this is almost a disincentive. But if you stay on the phone long enough, you will get a copper at the end and they will be able to advise you. If you're willing to wait. Now, if you're in jeopardy, right, any kind of real trouble, you call 999. No other service. You call that. You say, help me, I'm being kidnapped. Where are you? I'm in the back of a taxi. Where's the taxi? And then this, I suggest that one half of this phone call actually happened and that they called fucking no one and cracked onto that driver that they'd called the cops. It's what it's like to me. I think people threaten, especially people of this kind of character, right? They threaten people with the police all the time. All the time. Threaten people with calling the police all the time. It's like one of the many weapons that they carry on them if just being a pushy cunt and demanding things, demanding concessions and demanding special treatment doesn't work. They're the first people in the world to say, I'll call the cops on you, or I've got lawyers, I will sue. We get a demonstration of her fancy fucking mouth. Quite a bit in this video as to making threats to get set lawyers on people. She'd at this stage, just 3 minutes in, she'd already cracked on, I'm going to set about these 2 white men, and she's after these cops. Right? Her psychological attack on the police starts about there, where she says these 2, I'll get the Chelsea's lawyers on these 2. And it's like, hang on a minute, right? This is procedural, this is the police you're dealing with. This guy's reported you, that shit you say about having called the cops, well, we didn't get the call. But you're insisting it happened. The job we're here for is a criminal damage case where you've puked in the guy's taxi, pretended to call the police, so he's called the police and really called the police, and we've told him to drive you two to the police station so we can have a word and try to sort it out. Right? Perfectly reasonable thing to happen. But these 2 bitches are fucking crazy, hysterical, and amongst each other concocted some notion as to, oh my God, we've puked in this guy's taxi, he means to kill us. Why would you do this to yourself? Are you insane? You've created or manufactured a drama and talked yourself into a lot of trouble, and then kicked out someone's window while they were driving a car. How freaky that might be for a guy who's driving. So what does this taxi driver's story? We ain't got his side of it, unfortunately. We ain't got a video, but he's going to be like this. They are fucking crazy. Fucking loonies. Right? If the world be a fair place, he should sue them for emotionally disturbing him and fucking his night up and messing with his taxi. By all accounts, they've come to a deal with this taxi driver and paid him off. So that charge has gone away, but unfortunately, as we later witness in this video, she in real time commits what would be a racially aggravated attack on the cops. But it starts here with her threatening to set Chelsea's lawyers on them. Like, she can just do that. Can she? She's a football player. Football players, they ain't, most of them, you get a few that are real smart. She ain't one of them. Many and more of them are numb as shit. Right? You get the odd one who's really, really smart, but not everyone is Brian McClure, you know what I mean? Not everyone's like, if I wasn't going to be a footballer, I was qualified to be like a maths teacher. No, not so many are like that. It's not like Steve Coppell finishes his degree and then signs for Man United. No, not that. She doesn't know the first fucking thing. What does she do? Ring up her first team manager and say, hi, I need the club's lawyers. I'm a big shot. I'm captain of the Chelsea women's team. And it's a matter of, have you ever seen a Sam Kerr, highlights video, right? There's something in the world of football called stat padding, right? I'm just I'll give you an opinion. She's not a bad women's footballer. There's worse than her. She can play a bit. You can see her playing. You know why? As to, well, yeah, there's a player there. She's actually a decent striker. Her touch is fucking abysmal, but good enough for the women's game. An eye for goal, right? Seems that she's decent at beating female goalkeepers from distance. Seen her score a few goals where it's like, well, I'd have saved it, but she's not going to. Her highlight videos, if you look at her sort of Chelsea footballing career, about 80% of her goals come from just outrageous, ridiculous defensive mistakes by the opponents. Like, you know, like the goalkeeper spills it, like the defender just miscontrols it and just gives it straight to you, and you're just rolling into back at net. Like someone fucks up a back pass and takes out their old keeper, and you chase it in and tap it into the open goal. That's where our goals come from. That's where our goal scoring record is. It appears that whoever plays up front in women's football is going to have massive inflated goal scoring statistics based on the standard of the game by way of mistakes. I'm telling you, it's like you look at her career as to talking like a big shot, and it's a matter of most of the goals you've scored have been tapping the ball into an empty goal after either a goalkeeping or defensive calamity. And the kind of calamities that she feeds off. If any male player at any level of the professional game was to make such mistakes, they would never play football again. But in women's football, it's just all forgiven and recycled, and they just glorify it and glorify it and glorify it. So this person is a person who... he can play football, but he usually ends up playing against people who are not anything like as good as she is. So she's in essence like a bit of a, as they call them, in cricket, a flat track bully. Against, in certain conditions, can smash the ball all over the place. But when the going gets tough, ordinary player. That's what she is. As a footballer. Of inflated reputation based on that, what is now the hype of the women's game, where hype is trying to turn women's football into a not a sport for people to watch, a sport that can sell advertising, and really struggles. But there's now more money goes into the women's, it must be, it depends on the television deals, but it's kind of a what's the word? A subsidised sport. I don't like subsidised sports so much, although football itself is that. But this women's thing, the finances of a lot of football clubs don't stretch to it. Just saying. It's like only the rich clubs can afford to maintain it. And for everyone else, it's like, we don't make any money out of this, and we are on a shoestring to start with. When we start thinking about wanting someone like her, what she earned for a wage, they say she's on about, I've heard it said she's on like £68,000 to £70,000 a week. "20 years ago, she'd have been the highest paid player in the country. It's a staggering amount of money. It's only in recent times that men have got outrageous wages, but 60 and 70 grand a week. Guys like John Barnes, Brian Robson, Mark Hughes, superstars of previous generations. Shearer, his wages never got anywhere near £69,000 a week. Shearer's like a 50 grand a week striker. Top paid player in the country. 20 years ago, 25 years ago. But suddenly they've found money for women's footballers to put one on a £3 to £4 million a year contract. Right, so with that comes the responsibility of it. And then also this person is the captain of Australia's women's team. Australia take their football very seriously. And as well as that, her entire career will be just a massive subsidised situation. As to you're not really worth this, but we're selling you people as celebrities. We're selling you people as brands. We're trying to build up an awareness in this. So she's like a poster girl for this fakeness. You could never sell me women's football, although my father likes it. Right? I've been round to my father before, and there's been football on Sky, which we can get, we can watch, and he'll be watching a women's match. It'll be a big women's match. And I'm like, I watch it, and last game I watched with my dad, a women's match, like a cup final. And there was some really bad sportsmanship at the end of it by the Chelsea manager who barged into the Arsenal manager, like threatening, like put the tits in, you know, like thick set woman, went at him and then accused him of assaulting her. That's ruined the entire affair. When after the game she was talking about misogyny. You got beat, but she wasn't talking about defeat. She was talking about misogyny. It fucking ruined the whole thing. But the game itself, the match as a spectacle, was a good game. As a game of football, it was like, this is a good standard, because I was putting it to my father as my theory. I say, women's football, forget it. And it's like, well, why, John? And I'm like, my reason for not being a big fan, and I'm not respecting the quality of women's football, is it's not got enough tears in its game. And that means that you'll actually get a world-class women's player, and she'll be on the same pitch as someone who's risen up 3 leagues through what'll be and played against opposition that's been fucking abject shit most of her career, and then be someone who then only starts to play against good players at the top. So I'm like, I look at it, and at the same what's one club I'll say, there's an international and there's someone who should not be playing football, and they'll be on the same pitch. Not in the same team necessarily, but on the same pitch. So you get a lot of where it's a matter of one team or player completely, totally fucking dominate the other, and that is not, it's like a misfight in boxing. But misfights in women's football, the whole thing's a misfight. Shoddy. You get it where if they get women's football good and going, whereas women start playing because it's all organised. Women don't go out. Women don't do drills like us old boys used to do, where we used to be out in, like, it's getting a bit dark outside now, but it'd still be light enough to play football in the street. If you've got street lighting, you could play football in that. And it'd be 40 years ago, that's likely what I'd have been doing now. Be kicking a ball with somebody, with a keeper, with just a mate, passing it around, or else having goals and turns in goal and shooting and shooting and shooting and shooting and shooting and shooting. Don't exist no more. It's like players of my generation are all miles better than the modern ones. Smart. We had to deal with a lot more. Keeping yourself alive. Keeping yourself alive be a massive part of it. I showed an example of a tackle from years ago on Facebook the other day. It was just a Vinnie Jones foul in the about 15th second of the 1988 Cup final. And it was a clip of Vinnie Jones and demonstrating a side to football that everybody knows exists, or existed then, but no one was ever willing to talk about until he did. And then he got done for bringing the game in a disrepute. And he talks through the first time he let McMahon have a touch at ball, get away from him, and he just smashed him as hard as he could with 2 feet, blasted him. Bucking. And it's like, he's a better player than me. I can't outplay him, but I'm a better athlete than he is. I'm stronger than he is. I'm willing to work harder than he is. And it's like, we won that game 1-0. He was the star man in midfield and he didn't do nothing. Because I hit him. Every time he got the ball, he was thinking twice as to, is he going to hit me again? And that just took the edge off his game, and he were irrelevant. He didn't do fuck all, and it's true. He didn't do fuck all because Vinnie Jones smashed him up in the air in the first minute. Now, in modern football, they'd just send you off for it. Right? But who gives a fuck? That's the game we played. That's the game I played. That's the game everybody I played against played. It's like, are you a bully? Are you a bully as a personality? when you play football. Some people are different when they play football. Are you a bully if you've got a massive advantage over someone? Do you hurt them? Are you that sort of person? And it'd be a matter of, right, yes, there are those who are, and it's a matter of, thanks for telling us that, because we know how to deal with you. Bigger bully comes along and fucking destroys you. Bang. Harder bastard than you kicks you up in the fucking air. Hard man is a losing game, so what it is everybody's an hard man. It's like, we don't need some dickhead on the pitch like Vinnie Jones willing to take bookings and punish opponents for the way we get punished. We don't need that enforcer anymore. Man United invented the kind of the notion under Ferguson that every member of the fucking team was that guy who'd hurt you. Every single player on the pitch is willing to stick a boot in and willing to get hurt and willing to fucking smash you on. That's the Man United team I used to watch. They were brutal when they had to be. Highly competitive. Had nasty pieces of work playing for them. We were cleaning up bad boys for years. But it's like Sam Kerr, right? Comes from the women's game, and the women's game is, in some ways, to me, it's like dirty in ways that the men's game will never be. There's more blatant cheating and the strange feature of something that was long gone, because it's stupid in professional football for you to, oh, I can get revenge here, kick. See that in women's football, you don't see men's football. Just a piece of nastiness out of revenge. Quite a bit. You see someone chasing someone, like, I'm going to have him. If you do that in men's football, you just don't have a career. You're just stupid. You're just wasting your fucking time. You're wasting everyone's time. They'll sack your ass if you become that guy who starts getting revenge. Women's football, see it all the time. They'll put their own personal feelings before the team and give a penalty away because they hate someone. Seen it? It's like, what's that? She's like, she's from this fake joke world. And she's a fake joke fucking psycho. Who, in essence, in a way, is living this. Do you know who I am? I'm going to set Chelsea's lawyers on you. I'm the captain of Chelsea. It's like, maybe you don't understand football, or he doesn't follow it so much. And he'd be like John Terry. She's like, yeah. I couldn't tell you the captain of Chelsea is nowadays, but I'll tell you, like, who's the most famous captain of Chelsea? John Terry. You like John Terry? You're like John Terry. You're like captain of Chelsea. You've had to be like, this is a big enough room. Do you fancy a game? No, just me against you. So here we go. And it'd be, drag yourself out of a chair and you stand up and you're like a foot taller than her. She's, oh, fucking hell. We say a big feature of women's football. The team that's got players at the back who are able to just fucking knock it 60, 70 yards, you know, who can just smash it, they usually win. That'd be almost a special move that only certain women's players have, the ability to knock the ball a long way. Where in full-grown men's players, there isn't a man who plays football who can't just knock a ball. But it's like, that's a skill you have to develop. It's like, I had a situation as to where fucking goalkeeper I used to play with all the time for a stage, whether regardless of what team, didn't like, he wasn't comfortable taking goal kicks. He could kick it well enough out of his hands, kick it miles, but he was shit at dead piece kicking. He could just shit, and I had to take him for about a season and a half, and I weren't so much good at it either. I was just about better than him, and it were a matter of sometimes goal kick was straight to the opponent's forwards, all onside because I've taken kick. he'd get fucked up and we'd give goals away because I weren't that good at it either, right? Give me a goal kick to take. I'm probably fucking leg would fall off now. It's years since, but like into my 30s, give me a goal kick to take, just a dead ball to just smash down the ground. I'll smash it two-thirds of length at pitch easy. Why? Because I fucked it up 1,000 times. Practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced until I could at will just smash the ball downfield. Dead ball, bang, it's history. I don't have to worry about that coming back. It's fucking flying like. It's like my mate in goal. He wasn't willing to be the guy to kick 1,000 balls badly to start striking them well. And it's like you get in women's football. It's like they ain't bedded in like that. They ain't had that. They haven't been conditioned to that. Small scale games, touch games, touch games, 5-a-side, moving the ball quickly, sharp passing. It's part of the game. Women's football tends to be like patterns of that, like men's football's become. It's like an upscale of a short-sided game. Some elements of that's beneficial as to where you get players who become like comfortable with taking the ball tight against their opponents and moving the ball quickly, but it's not always the right way. And it's like there's women's football has got, in that regard, more limited players. There's some cracking women's players. I will my hand up and say some of them are excellent. But there's some just haven't got that. They haven't got that out ball of being able to just smash it. Certainly in the amongst the defenders, they just haven't. The ones who have it are the best defenders in the world. There was a goal, I pointed one on my channel. I think YouTube took it down because they don't like using football footage. Where it was like the Women's World Cup final, and there was a goal that was scored, and they were talking about it. An amazing goal, and I'm like, the defender made, I think, 4 mistakes in the lead up to the goal. 4. Had 3 chances to clear it. And failed with every. 1 missed header, 2 ridiculous shots, and then gave someone an open goal to shoot into. And I'm like, that's the worst piece of defending I've ever seen in my life. And what that level be? What was that level? Well, the level that Sam Kerr plays at. It was the Australian national team, women's. It's like, you can't sell me this as it's like, if I want to see bad play, right? It's hard to see football now because they've destroyed the grassroots of it, which has allowed someone like Sam Kerr to be a player. Because with her attitude to everything, somewhere along the line in her football career, somebody might have taken a fucking hatchet to her career. In football, if you're a dick and you're a bully, usually, say a bigger one comes along, smashes you one. But they seem to be protected nowadays. It's not part of the game anymore, isn't it? They're asking for players to be aggressive, but they've taken all the violence out of it. Roy Keane was best central midfielder I've seen in the position play for Man United. Although, if I had to pick a right footer and a left footer, I'd pick him and Robson. And they'd be cut from the same cloth almost. They were both the kind of people, if you were to run your mouth at them, they would turn up the heat on you and be bearing down on you to punch you in the face. Not for nothing, but they got that in them to be that guy. Got that in it to knock you the fuck out. Roy Keane, before he dies, he'll get it where there'll be situations in life where people will fucking throw a punch at him, because it happens quite a bit. Football fans would see a chance to make himself famous in a moment by giving Roy Keane a clip round the ear. Well, if you do it to him, you'd expect him to do it back. He'd fucking batter you. And it'd be, yeah, you take that on board, that's you don't cross the line with that guy. And you'd think less of him if he didn't do exactly what you'd expect him to do. Just like, don't fuck with him. And it's like, if any of you out there ever run into Yap Stam on your travels, don't fucking mess with him either. Very serious fellow, and it'd be a matter of you cut up the wrong way with him and he have it in you to knock you the fuck out. Like that, the worst of them, if you listen to United Stories, is Nanny. They're like, fucking Nanny knock you the fuck out. His teammate, if you take liberties with him, next thing you know, you're fucking nursing a smashed face, and he'd be, you fucking mess with me, you get another. His Nanny was bad for punching people in the face. Like, smack. Come on. No messing about, no say it again and I'll hit you, because that's just a game. He shouldn't do that. He was more honest than that, a better guy than that. Loved his teammates more than that, so he just flat out just smashed them. It's just fucking hell, he's punching me in the fucking face here. They be footballers. So you don't push them around. They don't stand for it. None of them. It's like the good ones don't stand for any shit. And it's like, look at what's crept in. Now with the women have become influential and in essence powerful and rich from football. And look what it fucking produces. Look what it produces. And it'd be a matter of, should women have even started playing football? Is it even their sport? I look at women's players and I look at the physiques. I'm not start looking at men, right? Footballers. You look at the body, look how they're built, right? Now you start looking at women who are footballers, not because she's pretty. No, you look at the physiques on them as to say, these pitches, these boots, how grippy this world is. And that woman playing there, she's a nice enough player, but her balance is fucking rubbish. And you're like, okay. And then from there, it's a matter of your balance is rubbish. So one day, it's like you're going to lose your balance. Your studs will stick in that perfect pitch, and you'll twist your fucking knee right the fuck off. And they're saying, why is it such a thing as to where the sports, the women's sports writers can't even contemplate as to why women are more like suffering more super serious knee injuries than men do? They're doing everything they can to somehow blame it on men, and I'm like, no one's tried to do what you've done before. Men have been playing football for a very long time, and if you look at the track record of men stopping playing football, they stop playing football because the body gives up, because it's not easy, it's a lot of stress on the body, years of carrying injuries untreated. If you lose your edge in the game, right, and you stop playing and you go back to it, the game's always much faster than you ever remembered it being. It's like that. So when you walk away from it, you don't get to go back. And if you do go back, expect to spend a long time getting up to speed. And then it'd be a matter of, I have to play this at a low level because of my relative speed. And it's not how fast you run either. That's not a problem. It's how quickly you process what's going on. It's like how many footballers, big and small, fall by the wayside, amateur, professional, due to injury, and finding out quite late that they shouldn't have started playing in the first place because they've got predilections that mean they're not going to get so far. And the game itself be the ultimate test as to whether you're going to get to carry on playing whether or not you come off the pitch with a broken fucking leg. And it'd be part of it. Anyone who's she's injured herself, isn't she, Sam Kerr? She's another one of these who's had the ACL, cruciate knee ligament. I've been looking straight at it and say it's because it's because at speed, the difference in a woman's hips just allows for a bit of movement as to where you can look at a guy who's solid on his feet and he move and he'd be a pretty. The guys you know are never going to get injured tend to not move gracefully. They move deliberately quickly. They're not graceful. Guys who are graceful move in a certain way. Tend to be highly strung. Tend to be highly strung like race horses are. Basically, you're going to suffer from muscle injuries because to get that movement you get, it takes for your body to be a precision instrument, and it just got a little bit out of sync, and you're not going to be fit. So that guy shouldn't be a footballer. He should be a fucking sprinter. The guy who's a proper mover, who's graceful moving. But yeah, too highly strung is they're not people with bodies like that. They can't stand for the rough and tumble of playing a game of football and running 10 miles a game, and it be bang 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 as well. People bodies can't cope with it. Now that'd be a thing with the women. There's not enough competition or football being played to actually, in some regards, wipe out these. What would be people whose physique's going to fail anyway, would fail. So you look at it, there's not that many women's players registered, not that many who are anywhere near the path to professionalism. How many of them are laid? How many of them at any given time is laid up with a cruciate knee ligament injury? Out of the whole bunch of them, how many would you recognise as being in the elite pool who get paid 3,000-4,000? How many of them right now are laid up with an ACL? 600-700? I'm not kidding. How many of them are laid up with long-term injuries? It's like no one's ever tried this before. No one's ever tried having women football training, being professionals and held to a certain standard and held to a profession, and having pictures taken for the fucking cameras and being sold as brands and become influencers. It's not been tried before. Women's physiques have not been tried. Men's physiques don't stand up so well at football. It's harder on the body than people remember or realise. You get some dick who claims to be an athlete of some kind. I'm a distance runner. And then you put him up against a guy and say, oh no, I never run. I don't like, it's boring. What do you do? Oh, I play 90 minutes football every week, or twice a week. And it's like, who's fittest at two? Footballer. Miles more durable. Probably not as quick. Probably not as good at distance running, but athletically, he's more durable than the athlete. Why? Because he's been kicked up in the air 1,000 times. Didn't break. Sorry to have gone on a sideways track and start to talk about women's football, but it's like, for this person to in essence, her stupidity now created what I think is actually quite a major scandal within our justice system. As to a jury weighed evidence in this case and let this person off with the charge of a racially aggravated verbal assault. She did much more than that. Much more. That's just what tapped it off. And I feel sorry for this guy having to put up with this ranting fucking lunatic pisshead for hours and hours and hours. This be about fucking 3 o'clock in the morning.
The taxi is it?
He was
obsessive.
He wouldn't stop driving around. We were trying to get out for 15
I'm
minutes.
really sorry, but you guys have to understand, when a male, like I hate to break it to you, but when a male is driving a fucking car fast for 2 women, it's fucked. It's fucking scary.
Okay.
She doesn't like men. appears to, in many cases in this video, tar them all with the same brush, and is extremely dismissive of anything they might have to say, because you cannot possibly know what I've been through because you're not a woman, so therefore you are wrong. I've had this game played with me, oh God, more times than I can remember, and I'm usually in a position where I can just say, hey, see ya, fuck off, and go on. But Copper isn't. He's a captive audience to this shit. So yeah, he is being abused. She does abuse him because he can't walk away from that shit she pulls. You're men, you don't know. This basic misandry that she expresses towards these guys, right, is really fucking palpable, but it'd be a matter of, to her, like an invisible force field that makes her unbeatable. They call it sometimes playing the woman card. When the woman card fails, she starts to play the race card. She sets off playing the but the man hate infused in it, lesbian. The man, but it be in essence say, oh, we're in the right because there's two of us and we're women and we up against one man. They're trying to make it a matter of, this guy's nobody, he's a taxi driver. Nobody. I'm really somebody, and so's my girlfriend. Who are you going to believe, us or him? We'll go to court, our word against his. And their story is based on emotion and what they claim to have felt. And to them, their feelings having been hurt is the only crime that's taken place. The criminal damage is not relevant and not a crime because it was a response to having been kidnapped and facing being raped and murdered. So they don't take any responsibility for having kicked out the guy's fucking passenger window. Anyone else get familiar rings about this kind of talk? Now, you put this person in a position of power, like she's having this kind of conversation with her kids, or else her husband, or else her girlfriend. This is hell on earth dealing with this fucking person. And then it'd be a matter of, but the copper, just like the dependents, all the people in her life who likely fucking take money off her, they can't escape from it. This cop can't either. He can't just say, tell you what it is, love, shut up. I'm going to fuck off now. And I come back in 3 hours' time and we'll see if you've chilled out. Because that's what I'd have done. No, he has to stand for it. He has to listen to this. He has to put up with it because she's not under caution. The next part of this video is the part that everyone will love to see, when they actually, these two idiots, talk their way into a new reality, which is being put in the back of a transit van and transported probably 20 miles to the nearest police station that's actually got cells to hold them in. And they only got banged up for, anything up to 12 hours after this. Anything up to, they might have sped them through. She might have spoke to the lawyers. She might have been, the two-tier system might have processed her in a few hours. She's turning up early morning. Every fucking idiot in London who's got his collar felt overnight or been locked up for whatever reason, they're waiting to be processed as well in these centralised processing places. So when you have to travel miles in the back of a transit van, blacked out, right, to a police station to be processed, you really go to the back of a queue. So you can be sat there, banged up, all the rest of the next day, depending on who you are or what you've done. They'll sweat you as long as they've got a certain amount of time in which to process you after you've been arrested, and they'll use it all because it's made to be flexible because they're busy sometimes. her getting thrown in the back of the van would have been fucking so. She thinks she's walked in thinking I can't be touched here, and then I'd love to have seen it where it dawns on her that, hey, you know what? Don't make any plans for what you might be doing tomorrow, kid. They're all on hold because you're getting banged up for the night. Coppers actually should have framed it a bit better, but it might be seen as being coercion to get her to just shut the fuck up, pay the man his money and go home, right? Which is the ultimate outcome, because if she'd have done that, this video wouldn't exist in the world, would it? It just wouldn't be in the world. But because she's such an idiot, it's in the world.
But do you not believe us?
Like you're acting like we're lying.
How am I acting like you're not? I'm just asking a question.
You're acting
No,
like we're
I'm
lying.
being serious.
How did the front pane in the taxi get broken towards the cab?
Because he would not stop. We were like,
He
we
kept
will
driving.
listen
He
to
kept
the
driving
audio.
Yeah.
Listen to the audio.
Okay.
I have no problem paying a fucking 100 fucking 400 pound. He would not stop.
I was like, sir, please pull over. Sir, please pull over. Sir, please pull over. And
We
he
were
would
willing
not
to
pull
get
over.
out. We didn't
And
know
I
where
started
the
kicking
fuck
the door.
we were. He would not stop.
Okay. So
This is the fucking problem with police.
Yeah, but all we're asking you to do is, and you said you're willing to pay it, are you able to pay the money now then?
Are you? Is this
Are
how
you guys
silly
serious?
police are?
Yeah, but this is what I keep telling you. You're not saying anything that he's done, apart from the fact that he's phoned us as well.
I'm recording this shit.
You're
Because
allowed to
this is
record
fucking
it.
crazy.
And then he's driven to a police station, which is
So you're saying
And
that
we
if
are-
a crazy,
He held us
I'm recording
hostage.
this. If you're saying a crazy taxi driver is willing to drive us
Share with
around
me,
London,
Captain.
which I have my recording on, we can pay.
Well, however, if
I
you-
have
if you-
never been in that sort of type
Okay.
of like hostage situation
We were
in my
hostages.
entire life.
Oh my god.
Driving around in fucking circles. He was Do you have his fucking route on file?
Look at his route.
Do you have his route on file?
Yeah, that's that technology I mentioned. They think the police have got some kind of technology as to where they can just put his license plate in and it just tells them everywhere he's been. They are adamant that technology exists, and they bring it up over and over. Why don't you cooperate? Why don't you just go and pull up his file and get his tracking data and it's like, no, that doesn't exist. There's no such thing as that. Stop talking like that. We know. Oh.
no, it would only be on what's on the
that's
phone,
not a
wouldn't it?
thing.
That was great. Like whatever
Okay,
the fuck he was doing was
he has driven you
crazy.
to the actual area, so he's actually driven you to Richmond, where he's then been
Did he
instructed.
drive us to Richmond?
Are we in Richmond?
Well, you're in Twickenham.
Yeah.
is
Did
not
he
Richmond.
drive us to
Yeah.
Richmond?
Because-
Did he drive us to Richmond?
Listen to me. When he's got there, he's told us that he's asked you to pay, which apparently you said no,
That's where my local MP lives at, Richmond.
and he's
That
he's
is
been
a
instructed.
lie!
That's a total
That's a fucking lie! Listen to the
Where is
recording.
this guy?
Oh, South Rochdale, we like to call Richmond. Richmond is South Rochdale.
Okay,
Where
give
is
me-
this guy?
Hold on,
Actually,
Listen to the
He's
recording.
outside.
Listen to the recording.
Still here, right? At which point he's been instructed
Did you-
to come to the nearest police station.
Did you
Listen to the recording. Don't say anything else. Listen
you-
to the recording.
Did you?
Listen to the recording.
We don't have access.
Listen
that
to
right
the
away.
recording. Listen to the recording.
Right.
No, listen to the recording. Because I would never fucking say no to paying. It's a fucking taxi driver. We
Okay.
know we're getting in the cab to pay. He's making that up.
All we're asking
No,
you to do is
listen
pay.
to the recording.
There is no recording.
Listen to the recording.
What recording?
Because then it's our word against our seed. And it's 2 verse 1. Listen to the recording.
Well, we are.
Listen to the recording.
We're asking.
Listen to the recording. No, that's because he's a fucking liar.
Right, there's a recording she claims that they have to listen to, but she hasn't provided it. She's just, you have to take her word for it. She's not going to let you hear the recording. She goes on to do this later on where she turns it all into a guessing game. Oh, no, we're not going to tell you where we were going. Oh, no, we're not going to tell you where we were coming from. Get the tracking data. Oh, no, we're not cooperating with you. She doesn't provide this. She's not. These recordings, whatever they are, likely will have been either used or not in that court case. Probably never came out in the court case. Never were used for defence because they'd have been incriminating. Because she sees her behaviour at this moment as being perfect. That she's in the right. That she's in an infallible position as to where all that's wrong is that the cops are failing to be psychic. They are failing to be empathetic. They are failing to be psychic, and they're not registering my hurt feelings as to where I've had a knock to my pride because she's puked in the back of the taxi and her fucking idiot mate has kicked out the guy's passenger window. Having mouthed off somewhat when, if you puke up in I tell you, you puke up in a taxi driver's taxi, he's going to be really annoyed. And I mean really annoyed. You just put him out of work. You just give him a load of extra shit he needs to do in order to be able to earn, to operate. So if you, I'm gonna say, learn this, people. If you're gonna be sick and you're in someone's car, fucking tell them, and tell them. And I don't care where they are, whether they're on the motorway. Tell them. They might have a solution for you. If I was driving a car and they're on the motorway and someone said, "I'm going to puke up," I'd be on the hard shoulder. Straight away. Boom. First chance I got. Get out of my fucking car. And don't be puking out my window either. It'll splash back onto it, even worse. Or as bad. Same. Fuck no. See, speed of me fucking stop and pull over if someone says I'm going to be sick. It's happened. I've been that guy. I say, oh no you don't. We fucking stop. Someone throwing up in your car. It's up there with someone shitting on your sofa. It's fucking, you know, it's bad. It's like, you've urinated on my carpet. You've pissed on my rug. You don't puke up in a man's car. Don't care how fucking rich you are. Don't care how drunk you are. Don't take much to say, "Excuse me." Or it's like, in reality, it's like, if you feel sick, don't get in a car. Because, hey, you know, one thing and another. Motion. Might just be the thing that set you off. I suggest you get yourself about 10 or 15 minutes of fresh air. And see if that doesn't make you sick, maybe you're not going to be sick. You're fucking clueless, can't be wrong. You're doing getting so drunk as you fucking puking. Very dignified behaviour. I'm someone who used to drink, oh God, a lot, let's say. It was a central piece of my social life. Drinking and the pub was what the internet is to me now, right? In quite a few different ways. And I think I can remember every time I've done a chunder in public or where it's been inappropriate. I think I can remember every time it happened. And I think I've done it no more than to have been sick in a place or just maybe 6 times in my life. And every one of those times that I've been under the age of 25, definitely under the age of 25, where I've turned sick and been someone who's barfed, like drunk. Not something that happens so often. And it'd be you've pushed the envelope, let's say. What you've usually done is you've poisoned yourself. And different things you've drank have taken different levels of time to assimilate in your system, and you just go suddenly white, and next minute you're sick. But it's because spirits, if you drink spirits, they generally hit the system straight away. But you drink beer, and lots of beer, and then drink spirits, that's how you end up. Basically, the beer catches up, and you end up paralytic, just suddenly comes on. And it's like, if you're that idiot who gets that pissed, how are you fucking living your life? To be honest, it's like, why are you drinking? Yeah, it was people. There's people out there in the world, drinkers, who are as familiar with puking up as fucking Karen Carpenter. And I tell you what, a lot of them probably suffer from the same fucking problems as she had in the end. As to where she damaged her heart beyond repair with all the puking up she was doing, all the retching, fucked her heart up. It's like, at what stage is it fun in any way to end up drunk? And what you fucking playing at as like someone who's supposedly a sort of high profile? Oh well, everyone should be allowed to let the herd out. It's like, for God's sake, it's like the sort of money you're on, it wouldn't be out of place for you to have a fucking driver. Instead of hiring a fucking Uber, why don't you pay triple because you're a fucking millionaire? Right, and get a driver, get someone to actually pay someone to drive you and take you home. Why do you have to prey upon the public services that everyone uses, and then suddenly create a mountain out of a molehill, a drama out of exactly fuck all, but just pissed up and already fucking neurotic imagination, and fuck up someone's day absolutely completely, and then start mucking about with these coppers. And you know what strikes me about these coppers is, right, they're trying to explain to her it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how good or bad these cops are, because you just get the same result. They do try to reason with this person, is to say, hang on, right, this is how it stands, love. And they're like, right, you've got a choice here. You can pay the guy for the damage you've done, or you can be arrested for it. Oh, well, we want to go to court, and we want to put a counter complaint in against him. He's a kidnapper. Have you never heard of Sarah Everhard?
That's he's a liar, and they're listening to some black taxi man, a black cat cab or whatever they're called, white taxi man or whatever they're called, the cab over us two women. That's a lie. I would pay whatever. That's a lie. Why are you listening to a taxi cab over us two women?
Oh, we're not.
But why? You are.
We listen to both sides.
No, you're not. Because you're saying where is he? Where is
He's
he?
just outside.
Yeah. So why are you listening to him over us two?
I've only just come in to see what's going on.
So you guys are just listening to us.
You're not. You're
He's
not
standing out there.
You don't ask this.
I'm really getting mad.
Weird that, it's a black cab, so, oh, right, we learned something new, black cab. Oh, I was thinking she was saying he was a black guy, but she fucked that up, she said it, and then she's a black cab. Okay, so that says something as to how you can keep them locked in the car. They have that shit built in, don't they, black cab? So you can't hop out at the lights and stuff. That makes this story even more ridiculous. Black cabs have often got systems in them as to make it absolutely impossible to get out of it until you've paid. The red light is on. When the red light is on, the door is locked. So we've been kidnapped. Why don't you pay the guy? You've puked up, and the price, that was the thing about the price he charged for puking up. I was saying that other video I made about it, if you've been following. The black cab, it's not so bad if you puke up in one of them. They're kind of designed to be able to be horsed out as to where everything in the world's happened in one of them at one time or another. People have given birth in one of those fuckers. Have the waters break in one of them. Happens. You know, someone get in one of them that's bleeding out. And they somehow managed to rinse them out and put them back on the road. So it's not the biggest deal. If it had been a guy who was a private hire guy who was just on an ordinary car, puking in his car, big deal. Puking on back seat of a black cab, not the worst thing. But it still puts him out of action for the rest of the shift. Until that gets cleaned up, he ain't doing shit. He's either cleaning up someone's fucking puke, or he's paying somebody else to do it. And while it's there, and while there's a smell, no one's getting in that taxi. The guy wouldn't try to pick people up in it. Last thing you want is to say, well, got in this taxi, a terrible smell, a fucking sick, and alcohol pops. It's not sexy, is it? In any way, shape or form. Fucking damn right they locked in and he took them to a police station. Taxi driver, especially the black taxi guy, the black taxi driver, right, with those guys, they're all lone businessmen. They're all all of them. You don't have that as a job, you have that as a investment. It's his vehicle. It's his business. He might be allied to somebody else for in an association that gets him his work or his job's over the radio, but he is his own guy. To be paid up in that job, working in London, right? To be a taxi driver is not cheap, but in London, in a black cab, oh yeah. He's someone who has to be earning just for the car and being on the road and the fancy insurance they have to have. He's someone who's likely spending £600-700 a week before he makes a fucking penny. Like, ridiculous. Costs mega bucks to keep a taxi on the road. Mega. They have to make lots. That's why London taxi costs you a lot of money. That she talked this fiasco being about a £60 taxi journey and a £40 surcharge for puking up in the bag. 60 yards in a taxi in London. How far is that? About 8 mile. Black cab. Picked you up from Piccadilly, although she denies that later on, but that's where he picked her up from. Picked her up from Piccadilly, taken to Richmond. It's not actually that far, but it's like very built up, slow moving. You come in from it, you wanted to get out of a central location into the edge of London kind of location. Could probably go and we'll just look it up actually. Later on it gives a postcode. It gives a postcode, the to and from places, the taxi ride in this video. If you're a Sam Kerr hater or fan, you can actually go on Google Maps and just, map the whole journey. It's like, I'm not going to do that, but you could. So yeah, that's what 60 quid gets you in London, taxi fares. And it's like, those guys, right, they are, in their own way, absolutely fucking crucial to the way that London operates, the black taxi driver. There are many of them, and London, believe it or not, it's not anything like the rest of this country. It's like a different country altogether. It's got a different economy. There's always plenty of money around in London. It's a different fucking place, and it's a place of... If you don't live there, most people who actually live in London are either rich as fuck or absolutely poor as church mouses living in council flats and the like. Like one of my old pals who's a good lad, but he's like, troubled. He lives like in a council flat that's like right opposite the Tate Modern, but he's not on any more money than like PIP and incapacity benefit. fucking broke. He's a guy who's living on maximum couple hundred a week. And he lives right opposite the Tate Modern in a council flat. Funny old fucking place, London. But it's like, those who are knocking around it, it's like, there's no natives, it's a transient place, it's to and fro, it's like, and no people get there and they ain't got a fucking clue what they're doing. And it's like, I've been to London myself on my own through work. I don't know, about 30, 40 times. And I still fuck it up. I got turned round in an underground station. That's my weakness, that, for getting lost. And if you go into an underground station and you don't realise you've been turned around, end up going out of a platform and walking in the wrong direction. I think it was last time I were in London, or I was in London with Dan. I had us walking about a mile and a half in the wrong fucking direction, having been turned round in an underground station. We walked miles. Well, not that far. But it ended up, we probably went out of our way walking for about an hour. Probably did 3 mile in the wrong fucking, altogether, to get back on track. Right old walk, went past the Old Bailey and everything. It's like, John, do you know what you're doing here? It's like, yeah, of course I do, I know this place. And I'd lost my sense of direction because I've been turned around underground. It's like, I ain't fucking perfect, but I'm good at finding a bus stop. My sense of direction's usually pretty fucking good. So it's like, someone says to me, I'm going to London, will you come with me? I've never been to London before. I'm like, yeah, of course I will, I know it quite well. I know what to avoid. Where are we going? Thing with London. So these places they're talking about here, Rich and Wicker, where this police station is. It's like she's been taken to Twickenham. So that's a nice part of London. Right west, yeah, it's nice around there. It's like these cops probably would. This kind of shit would be the kind of thing that they deal with quite a bit. You know, mouthy rich people. Because that's who lives there, mouthy rich people. They're not fucking, no yardies, no Ukrainian fucking mafiosos, no Albanian fucking shysters, no Pakistani smooth groomers driving around in Mercedes Benzes in that part of the world. No, it's all well-to-do. You couldn't afford to live there unless you had a few bob, and in this country, a few bob means respectability, doesn't it? Straight away, immediately, the whole country would just bend over and bare its ass for you and waste half the fucking night entertaining your bullshit. If you've got money, this country in that regard is the world's biggest fucking whorehouse, and has been for, I don't know, as long as I've been alive. If you've got money, this place gives you the benefit of the doubt and fucking bends over for you. It's like we are like money grubbing fucking serfs in this country, in the way that we just open it up to anyone who turns up with a suitcase full of money. Suddenly the royalty, nobody gives a fuck where it comes from. It's been endemic in this country. It's like, you wonder why, you know, they had that shit as to where nobody really gave a fuck where Roman Abramovich's money came from. Once upon a time, he was just a rich old guy, and the old place just bent over for him. Then it's years later, it's a problem. We've got to make sure these people are good and proper. It's like, oh, good and proper. It didn't matter for fucking years, did it? Did it ever matter, really? You don't give a fuck. This country pretends that it's got airs and graces, but it hasn't. You walk into this place with a suitcase full of money, and all the whores in the fucking world are wanting to suck that cock to get some of that money. It's what this place is. It's what London is. London is the biggest brothel in the world. They will treat you like a fucking king as long as you've got money. You might be a bad character and the least respectable fucking person to be getting special treatment, but you show them that money and they'll be all over you. There's no standards. No, not at all. They'll take anyone's money. I think this became the way of it when the Arabs suddenly all got rich through the old OPEC thing back in the 1970s. Suddenly Arabs have got immense amounts of money. It's arbitrarily cranked up the price of oil, and there was nothing anyone could do about it in response to the Palestinian-Israeli situation. Was the excuse they gave, but the Arabs became exceptionally rich by overnight. I think it's the Arabs who've corrupted London, who started it. Who the fuck is this guy? Oh, he's Sheikh. What's that? Like a guy like Mohammed Al Fayed. There's nothing special about him. He was a go-between, a negotiator, who was friendly with these big Arabs back when they first got rich, and he facilitated them sort of mooching their way into Mayfair. He's a middleman who's made commissions and had gifts given. It's like years later when he turned out to be a massive fucking bullshitter and a big pimp. It's like, are you in any way surprised as to how this guy ended up a billionaire with a fortune? He's never worked for it. He didn't work for it. He's a bagman. He's a middleman. He's somebody who helped people with lots of money spend it and put a load of it in his pocket, and it'd be seen as the right and proper thing to do. Made a lot of commissions from a lot of very rich men for helping him out with a lot of tricks and schemes and passports and the like, you know. Turns out in the end they're all spilling beans on him now and be like, oh, he's this and that. It's like, look at the things he did that weren't fucking under the table, nasty and illegal. So how does this guy end up being someone who can just force his way to the front of fucking everything? It's like he's a spiv, isn't he? He's a salesman. That's London. It's like, so you'd be surprised when a foreign national here who's privileged, as one of the most privileged jobs now for a woman, as the the world goes. One of the most privileged jobs in the world for a woman's up there with what the most privileged jobs for a man in the world would be, which would be I play centre forward for Chelsea Football Club. That's societally, that's one of you have to be said to be one of the luckiest, at the same time most privileged people on the planet, having that job, having that most people would give everything to do. You do it and you get paid massive wages for it. And she's someone who will end up pissed up and mouthing off at the cops like she does here. Look at yourself, London, because this is someone who's shitting on your doorstep, who you've invited in. A guest in this country, who's by hook or crook sucking, let's say, 3 to 4 million a year out of our good-paying public.
Like, I know I can tell you're getting
because
mad.
I would pay £50, but he would not let us go. He's made up that lie. He's made up this fucking thing. I'm gonna fucking call my lawyer. I'm gonna call my lawyer. I'm over these.
I mean, you can call your lawyer if you like to, but I mean, I think it's a little bit irrelevant, right?
No, I'm calling my fucking lawyer because this is a fucking racial fucking thing.
It is not
because you are not letting me go because you're believing that guy out the front over £50.
Well, this is the thing.
Well, it's
so
not £50.
It's not £50
because he would listen to the recording.
What? Because of the broken window? We'll
listen to the recording.
It's not that big of a deal.
I keep asking you to do that, and then you
listen
keep
to
the broken window.
No, listen to the recording. I'm not paying the broken window. Listen to the fucking recording. The stupid let us go. I'm not paying the fucking window.
How much was the
We'll
taxi
pay the
cost?
broken
£60.
Okay,
like,
so
it's not that big of a
you had
deal.
to
That's
pay,
not what we're
you had to
fighting
pay
about.
more because someone was sick in the back of the taxi. which there is sick in the back of the
That's
taxi.
fine.
Right, which is why
But we're not
he
paying
wanted you to pay
But he
£100
would.
initially.
Fine.
But right, you need to calm yourself down, young Missy, didn't you?
£60, £100. We don't give a f.
The Guardian cut out just that bit saying, you should calm yourself down, Missy. And made it, this cop dismissed this woman's concerns about being kidnapped. They actually cut that bit out and just used that as a featured bit. But this guy, he's trying to explain to it. He says, I want to call me a liar. And he said, well, that's kind of irrelevant. It is. And what? This cop is a good... I've had, when people say, well, it took for the other case to be dropped for this copper to actually be bothered. It's like, that's not true. In this video, at the end of it, she gets arrested for mouthing off. So I said, this guy was only concerned about it after this other thing had been... That was a lie that was spread by the likes of the Guardian. It's the part of the court case as to where they're saying, it doesn't match up. It's like, no, the time frame's in 34 minutes. They're talking about it as if months have passed, and it's not. The time frame between one thing and the next is about 90 seconds. Serious. The way, certainly, the Guardian spun this, and then that other day I used their story to highlight it, and that's what they were willing to put out, but they were still maintaining that her behaviour was almost, she was in the right and the cops were definitely in the wrong. And it's like, are you looking at the same video as me? And it's a matter of, yeah, you have to watch Guardian World. What they understand as being acceptable behaviour and motivation is brainwashed. Now, they can't see right for wrong. They're absolutely, completely blind. Now, this has to be seen as through a racial lens. As you say, just as in that moment ago, she made it about race. This is a racial thing that you're picking on me. He's a white guy, you're white guys, and I'm black. So therefore you're against me. I don't think there's a game that can be played to try to manipulate and bully that verbal that she doesn't play. Not a single one. And then as soon as her objection is always defeated, right, she then just says, yeah, whatever. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, whatever. And just dismisses it. Like, this is a narcissism teaching opportunity as to these fucking people are impossible to deal with, because they always will just dismiss. In the case of dealing with the cops, you're on a loser. She won in front of a jury, but she should have got herself a big slapped ass and fine. And a big reprimand as to say, you're a fucking guest in this country, lady. That's what should have happened, but it didn't. That's another reflection of how crazy and twisted things have become. It's like, what part of the country was she tried? And it would have been one of the leafier parts of London as to where the people you draw from would be, wanting to strike a blow for social justice out of guilt for having so much more than the rest of us. Those people, get them in there and tell a tale of woe. She's got in court and said things like, well, I had to threaten to sue the cops. Why? Because I felt unsafe. And that be an excuse to be accepted by a jury for that kind of bullying. I felt unsafe, therefore I had to bully. I had to be obnoxious. Because I felt unsafe, and that really be the only defence that she's mounted. My feelings matter more than the police procedure and the justice system. Even though it's small, this case, its repercussions are very big, and its footprint is huge. You've talked your way into trouble with the police, and all kinds of different factions have tried to spin it in a different way. Fundamentally, what we've got here is this person is a mentally retarded, emotionally retarded, degenerate. The police understand degenerates better than anyone. This cop would be the the most qualified person to deal with her because he'd be used to this kind of mouthing off. Yet he can't even get near. So entitled. This cop's done a good job. Later on in it, his sergeant gets involved. And he seems really level-headed as well and trying his best to be as fair as he can be. And they're a bit trying towards him as well. And all he's doing is reiterating, look, these are the facts of the matter here. You don't get to argue this here. And no one listening. Oh, that's just what you say. Like, how many times do we have to explain it to you people? And here we go. Carries on going.
This guy's taking us hostage, driving us around Twickenham.
It sounds like...
One guy driving around 2 women. She's from America. Fucking the shit that's gone down there.
That's not here, is it? That's not the UK.
No, it's not.
You
but
guys
you know what?
should
You guys are
fucking
stupid.
Oh my god. You guys should
You believe him over 2 women.
Right,
You
the
guys
thing
should
is,
see what he was doing.
I'm not...
Oh
You
my
guys
god, embarrassing.
look at the recording.
You guys would
Look
actually
at the
You
recording.
guys would actually be embarrassed
All
what
right,
he
fair
was
enough.
doing.
But I would suggest that you quiet your tone, because if you don't, you will get arrested for drunk and disorderly. It's quite simple.
Alright, fine.
Like, do you want to be arrested for something so stupid?
Sir, we're
So-
just
so
sir,
you need to
we're
calm
not
yourself down
okay.
and stop swearing. 'Cause it's
Okay.
ridiculous now.
I understand what you're saying, but it is so appalling to us, like the
That
things
you
that
were
were
standing
happening
up
to us
for
in
them,
the.
not us.
I'm
we
not
get that
saying
you're-
I'm standing
That's
up
how
for you.
girls get raped and killed.
Okay, but I'm not saying I'm standing up for him. That's the thing. All I've said is you've said, both of you, that you're willing to pay for the damages.
We are,
Cost.
but
For
we're
the-
trying to stand
for
up for
the-
what happened.
For the vomit,
We're trying to stand up for what
Well,
happened.
he was not letting us go. He
But
was
the
holding
thing
us hostage.
He has literally, you've damaged his car
We'll pay for
literally
that.
just before you got
Can
to
you
the police
please,
station.
if you track the taxi, we will be happy to pay for it if you think it's okay. There we go. There's
way.
a deal. If you track the taxi,
Again, I think it's funny. To me, it's because I've heard it before. It's a callback. So every time they say, "Duh, go on the internet, use your computers, and track the taxi, and then we'll talk." But this doesn't exist. Whatever. Go and track the taxi, and then we'll talk. And every time she does it to me, it just gets funnier and more absurd every time. It's starting to work on me. It's like, it'd be a terrible thing, wouldn't it, if I was to become some kind of comedian or some kind of, a big guy on the internet, as to where I'd have to be making that into, not a meme, a callback. Not a meme, it's not a meme, it's a callback. And just using the same joke over and over and over again every chance you possibly can get, and then stopping doing it and then doing it again just once the week after. Go and get the tracking info and then we'll talk. What? It's like, bring me a flux capacitor and then we'll have a conversation about revolution, shall we? Bring me an atom bomb and let's talk about, changing things.
I don't think what's happened either side is justifiable, because don't get me wrong, okay, if you felt like that, fair enough that you called police, I understand that, but you shouldn't have smashed his window.
we were trying to escape.
were
Have you not
trapped.
heard about what's going on in
We
the
were
world?
trapped.
I know that, but
I was trapped
but he
in
was
his
parked
car.
outside of the police station, and you
Okay,
were still
sorry,
sat in
let's
the car.
flip it. Let's
So,
flip it.
but the thing is though, you smashed the window about 50 metres down the road,
I was
and you
trapped in his
still
car.
sat in the car with the smashed window round to the police station.
Babe, we're
where
not
you
from
haven't-
here.
you
We're
haven't
not
tried to
from
get
here.
round.
We don't know where the police station is. We don't know that we're 50 metres away.
Okay,
We don't know.
Sir,
No, shh.
I
We
was
don't know.
trapped
We
in
don't
his
know
car.
that we're 50 meters away. You have to understand. Put your shoes in a female's shoes. We were both trapped for 20 minutes in a male's car, who was unapologetically not dealing with us, not dealing with a female version. Look what happened last year when that chick entered a female police officer's, like, you.
No, that's not what happened. It's like you're really struggling with your bullshit here, aren't you? Like, why even? Yeah, it's one of them, isn't it? Nutters, pissed up nutters. It's like I've known a few pissed up nutters.
You have to understand the emergency that both of us felt. Look what happened last year when a girl accepted a police officer's help in Clapham and got raped and killed
Yes, I'm
only
aware.
a year ago. So
Right, so that's my excuse. So now it's like, for things that might have happened or could have happened in the state that the frenzy that we'd put ourselves into. Not understanding that you're in a black cab and black cab's locked down so you can't do a runner at the fucking lights. That's what it's for. You can't get out of the car until you fucking paid. The guy's got, the driver is in a cage and the button to open the doors or release them is in the car. They are, in their way, fiddle proof. Unless you're going to stick a fucking gun in the driver's ear and say, open the doors. And then he might. Well, London cabbie be like, fuck you. You know, you a chance that might not fucking go down the way you planned either. But do it. It's like that. Those guys are experienced people. They pick up all sorts. They don't turn anyone down. And these fucking idiots got in his taxi. He's been taking them home, puked up, made a thing of it. The next thing, he's locked it down, and it's like, right. And then one thing's led to another altercation. They've obviously played the fucking victim something chronic, made this fake phone call to the cops, which has prompted him, being a black taxi driver, understanding that he's got a kind of responsibility, right? Civic, as to where the police are people he deals with a lot, you know, and those guys generally see and know what's going on around. They're by way of intelligence networks, you're looking for someone, or you're looking for things. You make friends with the taxi drivers and they might just fucking help you out. The grapevine is often peerless. So in some regard, a taxi driver is a licensed individual in his job. He's got a hell of a lot to lose. Council can come along and say, you can't operate anymore. Why? We've had a complaint. And this be the nature of the kind of fucking complaint. So when he's pressed and he calls the cops and the cops say, bring them to the nearest police station and we'll sort this out. So he says to them, well, we'll get the police to sort it out. As soon as you're so keen on ringing the police, let's take it to the police. And this does not register to these two entitled. It's only the way they felt actually matters and has any bearing on the reality. Right? You're a psychopath. And you've got muscle and influence as to where you can project almost violence from afar, as to where threats made. It goes on this. I'm going to expose you to the world. I once had it as to where I had a very difficult situation once with a local celebrity who's now passed away called Bobby Ball. And it wasn't very nice. And I was one of them people who was like the copper. I was captive in the situation. I couldn't do anything but take a fucking savage a savage bollocking for something I hadn't done from a absolute fucking raving lunatic. Like off on one. And he'd be a celebrity who I'd in essence grown up with on television. And then he fucking came back crying his eyes out and saying sorry that he'd overreacted the way that he had. Crying. So then I've got a fucking celebrity crying in my fucking reception area. Crying his eyes out. Grown man bawling. I'm so sorry I said what I said. It's like, I have every right to sue that prick. Luckily for me, you know, he stopped coming in, and it were like, thank God he stopped coming in. We don't actually need that shit. Drama. Took for my boss making phone calls to someone who was like a mutual friend of his as to say, never mind hello, that fucking mate of yours. Turning up, running his mouth. It's like, no, he's bad, fuck him. If he ever comes back in here, he'll be on his best fucking behaviour, so we're not being treated like fucking idiots. You tell him. It's not cool when people who've got like larger than life power to project and they threaten to have you killed, like Bobby Ball did to me. Mouthing off about how much money she's got. Mouthing off that she's going to set lawyers about you. Mouthing off that I'm recording, it's real time, and she's saying, she's like this, phone. I'm recording all of this. So you got someone in real time who's trying to make you walk on eggshells. I'm recording all of this. Well, we can see a third person's version of the recording. Because he turned his carrier on, he turned his body camera on when the mouthing off started. Goes on for 34 minutes. And she sat there. I'm recording you. I'm going to set lawyers on you. All this you talking now. It's all been recorded. We'll continue with this. I'm gonna stick to this. We're going through it, even if it does have me interjected and like recapping, and then even finding out new things and say, oh, it's even fucking more embarrassing. This person got off with this, but you know, because she created this situation, we now have this video. This is a true fucking gem of how it is for some. People give the cops a lot of stick, but this is what they do every fucking day. And these fucking people who lie like this and play, and they're just crazy and don't know shit, don't understand what trouble they're in. Don't understand why they're even there, and are off in crackpot wonderland. These are the people the police have to deal with. They can't just quit, can't just walk away. This is the sort of level of manipulation they face with most days as well. You know, as poor as we can say that the sort of the police and justice system is, it's like, look at what people are willing to fucking say and do to get away with something. And then imagine a world where the fucking criminal playing the fucking victim and seeking sympathies managed to melt the hearts of the entire justice system. Because we're there.
Listen to us.
Yeah.
We're both very afraid.
Yes.
And I understand it wasn't you, and it wasn't you, and it wasn't you.
It was none of you
But
guys.
both of us are very scared.
She don't seem very scared. She seems like me. She's like hyper manic, like she's super agitated, excited, off her tits, high as a fucking kite, drunk to fuck, and running her mouth because her any sense of decorum or ability to hold herself together has fled. And now you're getting a dose of her reality. This is what she's like when she's fucking normal. And the drugs have lowered her boundaries and niceties slightly, and she's had a rough night where she's imagined It's basically all the shame of just puking in the back of a taxi and her reaction to what is a fucking bit of a, let's call it a bit of a weak moment to be having, a bad moment. This is her reaction to having a bad moment. She has to drag the whole fucking world into something. I've been saying it for a long time now. These people exist and these people destroy families. These people make other people's lives intolerable. And whenever they're taken to task, they just play the victim and just throw out the fucking race card. And those who are the real victims of these fuckers, they are like, oh, well, you know, every time I open my mouth to a stranger nowadays, I have to bite my fucking tongue, don't I? Because the next one might be just like you, might be looking for a way to get an upper hand, might bully me, might have it as to where they're sat there with a fucking triple crown. She's a triple crown holder. I don't use that term anymore. Triple crown. What's a triple crown holder? Triple crown. That's, you're a feminist, a lesbian, and black. So you go into battle wearing the triple crown, and they act as sword and shield. And if one doesn't work, the other one will. You only actually, if you've got a triple crown, you've got everything you need to win in any situation that life can present itself with. She loses this encounter very badly with the police here. Comes off looking like a fucking lunatic. But in court, she won with the same act. Oh yes, in court, she won with the same act. Won in a court of law. Triple crown. How many other triple crown holders are there? Ooh, Oprah Winfrey. She's got a triple crown. She's a woman, black and a lesbian, isn't she? Beware of the triple crown holder, because the triple crown holder will pivot from sexism to racism to using homophobia as a sword and shield as well. They will just pivot between the two and will bounce those things around. Will go from one angle to the other, and in having both all swords and shields, as long as they can drive the conversation into that, that's all they'll do, because they see it as a way of winning. Winning. But what's actually happening is she's just being aloof and dismissive. Every time the cop explains the situation to her, she just says, whatever. Or, just go and get the tracking data. So I love this video. It's one of the, that's why I made a video about it. I want to talk about it because it's so rich. It's beautiful. This is a great video. I'm so glad that this woman talked herself into a court case, because we now have this video. This is going on my favourite list and everything. This.
So you're saying we weren't understanding to his actions. We had been driving around in his car for 20 minutes and listened to the recording. You've got it all. We rang 911. That we were very scared. We were very...
Did you get through to an operator?
We spoke to someone. She has it on her call. We were trying to speak to someone.
Okay. And when
so you three men
he kept
have
saying,
to understand.
Us off. Like,
and he kept being like, I'm stopping. He kept stopping and speeding up, stopping and speeding up.
What did the operator say?
So you guys have to understand.
What did the operator say?
One of your people killed and raped a female last year at Clapham, 20 minutes from here.
What did the operator say on the phone? On the
knows.
I'm asking her because she called.
I have two calls, one at 1:27 and one at 1:25.
We don't know.
Why don't you know what they said?
We don't know. We were just trying to get through to someone because he wouldn't.
The thing is, if I got trapped in someone's car, I would call the police The first thing I do is call the police.
But you're also a man. You don't understand
It
the
doesn't
female
matter.
reaction.
It doesn't matter whether I was a female or male.
It doesn't matter. You don't understand.
No, but
You don't understand.
I'm not trying to say that I'm not trying to get out of anything.
Well,
Like,
I'm not saying you are.
if I crushed through someone's window, I'll pay for it. I'm not trying to get out of anything.
I think they don't understand. I think the only person that understands is that guy right there. I think honestly, you two don't understand that guy.
I do understand. I do.
You don't understand the
But
women's.
I'm not trying to get out of anything. I'm not.
I know you're not.
I'm
If that's the case, then are you willing to come and pay for the damages cost of the window? Yes or no?
Is
But
he
can you
willing to
listen?
come and pay for?
Right, the answer there, right, it's why I am one of the greatest legal advisors who gives free advice that there is. I'm not a lawyer, right? There, she should have said, right, okay, okay. She's a millionaire. And this video, this mouthing off, this incident never needs to see the light of fucking day and would go down as nothing. Wouldn't even enter on the system. This wouldn't even be a hate crime incident. No, this is a walk away job. No record. This video would have been nothing. It didn't matter. It would have just been, well, we took this to protect ourselves, but it's over. No hard feelings. She's pissed. Probably wouldn't want people to see this. Would never see the light of day. And all she has to do was say, yeah, okay, I'll pay the, how much are they into here? 200 quid. That's what he wants, 200 quid. She could pay the 200 quid and just go over the fuck home and make up any bullshit story she wants to tell tomorrow to tell people what a terrible night she'd had and what a victim she was. She could have made up any story in the world and there'd be no video in the world to prove it otherwise, and everything would have moved on and everyone had known she's just the cunt she is. Just a goal anger, fucking goalkeeper drops it back at net, yeah. Yeah, we can order that. You just need the shirt. Go back to being that. Coppers flat out. There you go. 200 quid and you go home. And you're a millionaire. And you've been mouthing off about how much money you got. But no. She turns this video into evidence. And then there's a trial and it's in the public eye. It's like that in, sorry to say it, but in football terms could be counted as quite a spectacular own goal. Do you know what an own goal is? This is the kind of mistake that she's been profiting from her entire career.
Or what
Right.
the f*** did?
I've listened to you a lot because I had no choice to, because you're a very loud person.
But can you not
Stop.
listen to the
Stop.
recording
There's
of
no
the man?
recording.
But
There's no recording.
There is no recording.
Of course. Like there
But
is
if
no
you-
recording of the chick that got raped and killed by the Scotland Yard.
That's not got no bearing or relevance to this right now, does it? All I'm saying is, you're bragging about how much money you've got. That poor bloke will never see that amount of money in his life.
Oh, well, he should have let us go. We would have paid him.
So,
That's what you guys are defending.
Yeah, that's what
Not
you guys are
defending
worried
but
about.
you've told me so many times before you flip it again that you're happy to pay the money. So are you happy to pay the money?
No,
But
we're not.
Do you
We're
guys
not.
That's
That's
do
an
you guys not
easy
care
fix
that
for
he
you.
wouldn't let us out of his car?
Unfortunately, what you're
You're
telling us-
more worried about his car than our two lives.
No, but the thing is though,
Right, that's what we call in the trade a leap. I go as far as calling it a histrionic leap. Who thinks like that? Who talks like that? You've just the correct answer when someone starts to mouth off like that is actually the cop is not allowed to do this, but you could say something back at her that's equally or even more absurd. Throw anything back at that because the door's open now to fucking anything, and then aliens arrived. And then the SAS stormed the building. You've opened the world to you've opened up there to an infinite number of responses in answer to something so fucking absurd. You care more about the man's car than our lives. Because we could have had something bad happen if somebody else had been driving the car. If it had been a completely different situation, something different could have occurred. Therefore, we are the injured party. We shouldn't have to pay anything, because if something different had have happened, we'd have been in the right. So, therefore, we're in the right. Because if something different had have happened, our actions would have been justified. Can you keep track with that? I can keep track with that kind of logic. I can endlessly replicate it. It's dead easy. You just go around in a great big circle and you keep pivoting. Triple crown holder can endlessly pivot.
Yes, is that true?
Let's hindsight
You're
this.
safe from
Has anything happened to you? No. You are going off of hypotheticals that could have happened. They didn't happen, did they? You do not know that man's intentions. You've just gone off a hypothetical of a scenario that has happened to someone else, and you're saying that could have happened, which you are very true. That could have happened. It didn't happen.
Right, there you go. Copper, that's the law. Right? That's the law. That's a copper being a copper. That is the law. If it didn't happen, it ain't a crime. If it did not happen, it did not happen. DNH did not happen. That's where the law stands. Did something happen? Yes. Well, we can decide as to whether or not it's an offence. Did nothing happen? Well, nothing happened, but something might have. No, it's irrelevant. That's not what he's there for. That's not his job. He's here being a copper and trying. He'd be able to get through in this situation to 9 out of 10 people, and this be the one in fucking 10 that ruins everything. This is an open and shut case. Now all you got to do is pay 200 quid and you can go home. And she says, just go and get the tracking data. I don't know what's wrong with you.
What we're saying,
what has happened?
hypotheticals are fine, but do you think it's okay that a tax?
See how dismissive and aloof she is when he explains the reality of the police involvement in this situation. She just goes like, ugh. She goes, ugh. She's absolutely, completely dismissive, and then just doubles down. So it doesn't matter what he says. It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter what he says. She just goes, and dismisses it. That's called aloof, or a deflection, as they say. But she can't not do it. It's pathological. She falls here into a mechanical pattern that starts from the start. There's very good reason as to why this cop turned on his body camera when he did. Why? Because she started acting up. These guys, if they don't record every fucking time this happened, by the time they go and find themselves a lefty lawyer, they find themselves out of a job. He's protecting his job when she starts running her mouth. Having been alarmed by the taxi drivers to say, I've got a couple of nutters here. Turn on the camera. This is what the cameras are for. She could go to an idiot like the UK's answer to someone like that Bloom woman, her horrible mother, Lisa Bloom. Go to Lisa Bloom or her even worse mother, and she could spin this case and make it look like this was a straight up case of sexism, racism, discrimination and homophobia, and look to sue the Metropolitan Police for millions and frame it and be able to just say, look at this black woman, look at this white guy, and actually win. Or be able to draw massive settlement, because it's a matter of, we can't fight against this if people are going to buy it. If them are the right words to outrage people, you've won. So it's very important that the police, now, criminals or the criminal activist types, the people who ask for things, they want body cameras removed now because they thought that they would be a brilliant thing. It always proves us. It stops the police brutality. It does this. It does that. No, it in the end just proves them to be fucking liars at the end of the day, who are trying to play the victim and reframe the story in court, and frame the case in a way as so that they can control it and play to the usual mind control narratives that work. The Triple Crown. I'm a lesbian, I'm a black woman, I'm a woman. This is a white man. The definition of racism only works one way. Because a change in the written definition of the word has retroactively changed the fucking law. And it happened a decade ago. And these cases fly by and everyone gets the rough end of the stick. Everyone loses every fucking time. But now we've got one that's public. Let's test this. We're sick of it. This whole case is, in some ways, a message to you from the good cops. From the good cops. The good cops have sent you a message. The good CPS have sent you a message too. And it's this beautiful, glorious video. This is the problem. If you want to take the politics away, it's people coming to the police with shit like this, which is driving them mad. It's this that they can't play against. It's this that they can't defend themselves against. The accusation of racism is something that in that moment instills fear in the cops and it affects their judgment. It's like trying to cast a spell on the guy, trying to frighten him. And she endlessly does it. You guys are the same guys who raped and murdered that woman. A despicable fucking thing to say to any cop. Any cop. That it is, isn't it? I don't care if you hate the police. That's a despicable, particularly despicable thing to say. If you were thinking of despicable things to say to the police officer to hurt his feelings, that is what you would say. You would tar him as the same brush as a proper fucking wrong'un. And say, yeah, many cops are fucking wrong'uns, but to assume that these guys are and throw that out with your mouth, well, you are proving to me you're that because you're siding with this white man against me. Isn't it? It's a beauty. This video is it'll keep giving forever, won't it? It's like this is why we need woke to end. If one person plays this game, it makes a nonsense of the entire system of justice. And I've said this since I first discovered it. If one person gets bullied because of it, and one person abuses it, it's a law that isn't fit. Because if one person abuses it, everyone can. Millions can. Keep turning a blind eye. It's tearing the world apart. The gaslighting, the having to listen to this fucking nonsense as she's trying to rework the world to better suit her feelings. This is what fucking puts people on the sick with mental illness dealing with this kind of stress. And the cops, and certainly as well the NHS guys, they cannot walk away. They are not in a position as to where they're a landlord in a pub who can say, you're bad. They have to put up with it. They're a captive audience for fucking actors like this cunt.
Taxi driver says, I'm not letting you stop anywhere and pay the bill. Do you think that's okay?
Because he was driving you to the police station, which is what he's done.
Do you police station or not?
Do you think a taxi driver that was going to rape and kill you would drive you to a police station? No, you
You're
wouldn't,
sick.
would you?
You're honestly sick.
Well,
He was saying
I'm being truthful.
you're literally a white privileged person. You're literally a white privileged man.
Okay, but you don't need to be racist towards me, do you?
No, you're literally because we asked him to stop.
We said, please stop.
We said
Please
please
stop.
stop 5 or 6
A
times.
million times.
What does that mean to you?
Well, that's your
What
choice,
is-
it? But he's told us different.
What has he told you?
Like I told you.
Well, listen,
What does he say?
What does he
That's
say?
actually so interesting.
Well,
What
it's
did he say?
2v1, so why are you believing him?
But 2v1.
Democracy, eh? Right, that's another one. It's 2v1, why are you believing him? Mind bender, isn't that? These are mind benders. Just go and get the tracking data. Just go and get it. Stop beating around the bush. Go and get the tracking data and you'll see we're the ones who are telling the truth here. We were kidnapped. Go and get the tracking data. No, go and get the tracking data.
It's not
You're friends
independent,
with
is
each
it?
other, aren't you? So it's
What
not
do
like
you
a random
expect
couple.
us to do in that situation though? Like women, like do you just be like, oh okay, drive us to the police station? We're like so
The opposite direction of where we're going. Like, is that what you expect women to do?
I was literally like, sir, please bring us to a stop sign and we will get out. We will pay the cab.
This is all on call, so please listen to the voice
Yeah,
recording.
but we wouldn't be able to get that right away anyway.
But then what is the point
Can
of
we
that?
talk to someone else?
Can we talk to someone else? Yeah, you're irrelevant.
Can we talk to one of you guys? Or
Can we
like,
talk
is
to
there
a
like
major?
person?
We want to talk to someone major.
Appealing to authority. I love that. That's another one. So that's another trick. Another game is to basically to invoke your fear of your bosses. I'd like to speak to your manager, please. Is to attempt to invoke any fear that you may have of your boss. That's such a cunt's trick. It's like saying, would you talk to your mother like that? It's like, how manipulative is she? She's horrible. And it's like dings like this. I listen to it. If I was there, I'd be I wouldn't be able to stop giggling at the 5'2" woman mouthing off of me. I'd have to laugh at her. That's been in life where I don't know if I've succeeded or failed terribly. When I get treated like this, I find it quite funny. Can't do anything but laugh. You mouthing off? What are you gonna do? Like really? Let's break it back down to the here and now, shall we? If I really wanted to, I could thread you through that fucking window and use your head to break the glass. If you really want to start mouthing off, I actually am bad, and when people give me shit, right? Not uncommon for me to do the true lies thing and say, you see that hook on the wall there? Oh, I'm going to pick you up and hang you off it. Shut the fuck up. I like to use visual aids, me, when I give it the shut the fuck up. And it's like, I might be out of shape, but what I've got in mind, I only have to do it once. Shut the fuck up. See that shovel? And I would encourage someone to press me to do something ultra violent. And I'm particularly good at that because I deliver it in a very sort of cold way, as to say, oh, you don't have to do this, you know. But this is what you're asking for. This is what's coming. Cunt for it. But it's like when people run their mouth at me like that, then you get that kind of response from me. It's like, well, if you're going to start talking imaginary shit, let's talk about your fucking demise right now. Oh, I love countering. I love it. I've got counters to these guys, but every single one of them would get you sacked. I am particularly good at winning this actual battle. But you see, the kind of tools you would require to win this battle against this idiot. Rhetoric. Because She's in Cloud Cuckoo Land, Dreamland. You've got to be able to just demolish that with something even more absurd. Frighten the bitch. But if you were to a cop and you were to talk like that, you go to prison. You might not be. People have been known to meet with accidents in prisons, in police stations. Excuse me, you fucking heard me. Or use her own words against her and say, yeah, that guy who murdered that Sir Everard, yeah, he was one of us. Shut the fuck up if you know what's good for you. If we're that and you run your mouth like that, you think you're right about everything. What if you're right about that? Boom. Malfunction. The best outcome is you can see if she's enraged enough to attack you, but with that dodgy ACL of hers, she ain't doing nothing. Yeah, this bad drunken female behaviour. Oh God, I am a veteran of 20 years of late nights in people's houses when everyone's having a drink, putting up with this kind of fucking behaviour. Over nothing usually. Like this has ended up in a court over nothing. What that she could have made go away by paying £200 and shutting the fuck up, going on. I had flare up once with a friend of mine's girlfriend, and she long fucking since gone history. And when she started thinking she could just, give the psychological bully treatment to me, and I fight back against her, straight like back. Because you're an only child, kid. Yeah, what about it? It's like I had two sisters who used to gang up on me. I've been playing this game since before you were born with your fucking mouth. This is where it just gets. Oh, we've found something small and we're gonna make it into something big, and we're gonna for the next couple of hours we're gonna try and torture you. Well, I know this game. I had a grandma once. It's like I learned this game at the tea. You know what I mean? It's like it's been running in the background for my entire life. Fucking idiots like this with this kind of logic and reason. I'm a veteran who's got all the badges. But unfortunately, the way the world's turned in the last 20 years or so, saying what I fucking think. Right when I think it. Oh, well, you're not working for anyone. You look at a stay at prison. By the time they've finished fucking lying about what you've actually said, forget working. Seriously. You deal against someone here who's ruthless, who's like, right, the lie to tell you to get him in the most trouble is. And just reach for it. Same way as she reached for your cops, and there was a cop not long ago raped and murdered somebody. How can I trust you? The same person who'd reach for that, what they're capable of saying in order to get you in trouble. It's just a question of imagination. When they say really good liar, it's just a question of imagination as to what kind of accusation you can face. That's why people like her, when they start mouthing about lawyers, absolutely terrifying. Terrifying. That's why you turn on your camera.
Because we're done. You're like irrelevant.
Okay, and so are you.
Yeah. Well, we don't want to talk to you anymore.
Alright, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm done talking to you anyway.
Yeah,
Cool.
Yeah.
Because if we get the recording and we get the cab, which is all on camera and all on call, it's fine.
Whatever. Can we talk to someone else?
Did you explain the restorative justice?
Tried to, as you can tell. But one says they want to pay, the other says no.
We're not paying for like someone keeping us hostage.
We literally told the guy, we literally
tears.
said, hey, we'll pay you, pull over and drop us off. And he kept driving us the around. Like, what do you want me to do?
Look at his cab route. Look at his cab route. That will tell you.
There's only what's on his phone, and that obviously goes to your address.
That was to my address. And where did he go?
Just go and get the tracking info. I don't know why you're making such a big thing of it.
Where'd he go?
Where'd he go?
Where you come from? Piccadilly?
No, we weren't even in Piccadilly.
Where have you come from?
No, see, you don't even know.
No, well, I've not spoke to you, have I? So
Yeah, but you haven't spoke to him obviously
come
too,
from-
so we're not going to tell you. So where did he tell you we came from?
Piccadilly.
No, we didn't come
We
from
didn't
Piccadilly.
Okay, where
Like, that's a lie straight up from him.
Right, they now turn it into a game of gotcha. We're not telling you. You go away and you go and check that guy's tracking info. It's like, do they know that that's so funny when it comes back? Because it's coming.
I don't know, do I? That's what I'm trying to work out. Where have you been?
We're not telling you.
Whereabouts
You're
between-
gonna-
He has the cab location. Pick it up from the cab location.
Oh, fuck
Turn your
Wix.
pastime
Do you
into
want
your
a
full
website
time.
that looks like every other fucking website?
From Haymarket Piccadilly to TW.
And do you want AI dialogue that's like really fucking cheesy, almost too fucking good? I'm just saying. I think the human touch, AI can produce all kinds of good shit, but it's more of a time saver. I won't say it's better than anyone else at anything. It's just a time saver. Just saying.
1060p.
I'm completely independent.
So you're not. No, you're not. Police are not independent. I've had many things with
Sorry,
police.
do you
and
want
then-
to
Is
know
your-
where we were? We were in
Is your
Clapham.
postcode's TW10 6PF?
Yeah, but that could be anywhere in Richmond.
Well, that's not true, is it? I'm just saying, it's not. It's not true. Couldn't be anywhere in Richmond, could it? Most of the postcode will be for biggest postcode areas are rural. Not something about post. Been a postman. Postcodes are given out based on basically how big the box would be to sort it. Yeah, based on how many people live in the area. So if you live in a rural area, you could get it as to where you get fucking dickheads who used to do my job, and it's like, and where are you going picking up? Oh, I'm picking up from Yorkshire Dales. Where are you going? Oh, I've got the postcode. Get a fucking car. The postcode can some postcodes can cover 20, 30 mile, but not one in Richmond. My current postcode is for about 30 houses. That's quite a big one. And they say they all relate to the box, the actual hole in the fitting in the what was the postman, your postman's walk. Your postcode would be a box in his fitting. But when she says, well, that could be anywhere. No, it couldn't. It couldn't be anywhere. She's not out in the country. It's a little bit kind of semi-rural, but no, it would be more exact than that. And it'll have something else to do with where the sub-post office is, where the local sorting office is, would matter a lot as to whether that postcode would find you a specific place. If I wanted to just wind this video back 10 seconds, get her postcode, and let's go and have a look at it on the map, you'd probably find it's quite densely populated. And it'd be a matter of her postcode would relate to her street. But she's just mouthing off and being aloof, so she can just simply dismiss every scintilla of fact or logic that's presented her way with a universal shield, which is to simply dismiss it. It's like, this is so similar to when like a serial killer's been caught, you know, by way, you know, to interview, because this is at this moment an informal sort of process. all the cops have got an open and shut case here of criminal damage, and she's on her way to building an open and shut case of racially aggravated abuse. And oh my God, is she abusive? There's nothing she doesn't reach for. Let us continue because it stays good. I love how down in the mouth they get, but still very obstinate when it gets broken to them that they're going to be off going in the back of the transit and being off to the cells, which appears to have taught them not a damn thing other than validate their sense of victimhood. So it's totally backfired. There's no justice. There's no justice even possible. They will not fucking learn.
That's where we told him to go, and he drove circles around the city.
Sir, we were in Clapham. We were in nowhere near Piccadilly. Nowhere near there.
We could be.
Well, Clapham's like Clapham Junction. That's where you're going if you're on your way west, up the junction. Same neighbourhood. Depending on which road you were on. This is not miles. These fucking people have got no actual sense of London. So they're saying we've been driven around for 15 minutes. And? What? Which road? Certain parts of London, even at the late night, the traffic control systems are still operational at night. It's urban London's not an easy place to traverse because of all the lights. You don't get to go anywhere quickly, so driving around for 15 minutes don't mean shit. Driving around for 15 minutes might actually be a matter of him on the way sussing out, okay, I've found myself going to somewhere I've never been before, being the local police station, and he have a job navigating to it himself. Done the right thing as a taxi driver does when things have got a bit fucking tits, and when they've pretended to call the police on him. He's called the police on them because he's trying to protect himself because they're nutters, and they've likely been mouthing off, you're a kidnapper, you know, which has alarmed the guy. These women just don't take this. They just call the taxi driver a crazy guy. It's like, no, you fucked with him. Normally, he just picks people up and drops them off. You fucked with him. But there's very little or no mention or even second of thought for the puking up in the back of the taxi antics that led to this load of shit. To these people, that didn't happen or is something that would be instantly forgivable. Like, Narcs, man. These are they. You could be somebody who's got a very fucking a boss that's just unreasonable and makes demands and is in their own way not helping, just adding a non-motivational level of pressure to your work day. And is in essence setting you up to fail. I've had a few of them, and then they get 4 or 5 pints in them, and they become this fucking idiot. Common. It's like, you are a fucking idiot, and it's like, I've known someone once who was a dangerous, horrendous fucking every kind of degenerate you'd hate to see, a horrible, really evil, sick individual. And he was just a cunt, a full cunt, and get 2 pints of lager in him. He was the same full cunt, but now he wanted to fight you, and his chances of lasting a minute against you were between 0 and nothing at all. This guy couldn't fight his way out of a paper bag, and his game would be to get drunk and then get in your face and endlessly try to provoke you into violence because he wanted someone to really fill him in. And then if he did that, obviously he'd win because he'd get all the attention and sympathy in the world, and then he could get you in a lot of trouble. That was the only game he fucking played when he had a couple of drinks. He'd probably be dead now, or someone who just doesn't drink anymore, so that doesn't come out. But still an absolute scumbag in every weighable, measurable sense. And I'm serious, a bad guy. 2 beers and him immediately became that idiot. Provoking. With nothing. In his case, he's someone who's certainly been abused, right? He'd be someone who's adopted a woman's temperament. This woman's temperament. This kind of thing. And he'd think it's socially acceptable to behave like a out of control, domineering, well, his mother. He'd think it'd be acceptable behaviour to be around men like that because a woman can get away with mouthing off like that, but a man is in essence just waiting for the day when he says that to the wrong person and the wrong person fills him the fuck in. It ended him, he started to really systematically bully. He was given, they wanted to get rid of him and he would be expensive to get rid of, so they forced him to resign in the end, and the way they forced him to resign was to promote him, and as soon as he was given power he abused it terribly, and they just give it a few weeks, built up some knowledge, got rid of him. Thanks for that. They had to promote him and say, is this guy as flawed as we think he may be? So they promoted him. As soon as they gave him power over people, treated him like fucking slaves, he was an absolute fucking cunt. Just a complete prick. Somebody who took delight in seeing them fail, setting them up for failure, trying to make himself look good in their failure. So it's like, you don't give a shit about anything. Managed to get rid of the prick. He's one of them, he's running his mouth, he's like, come on. No, you want to fucking do it. I know you want to do something, come on. You're like, you don't, this wouldn't be anything other than giving you exactly what you want. This is what you're asking for. This is, you need this. I don't. This is you trying to drag me into your fucking sick world of, you know, being haunted, fucked up by people. Like, you're not worth that. Get the fuck out. Warned him many times as to where there's limits, and always the same thing. Say, I'm a decent lad. I'm not gonna kick your ass, but someone will. It's coming. If this is the way you treat people, someday you'll get it where you'll run across someone who really enjoys beating on people like you. Enjoys it. They be cunts too, but they'll enjoy kicking your ass. They'll see it as a way of that they can send an object lesson as to who has some fucking power around here by making you look foolish in front of everybody you've ever known. Making a lasting mark. Say, same idiot, doesn't drink anymore. Still a cunt. But doesn't drink anymore. So his mask doesn't slip so often. It's a bad thing, drink. If you're already crackers, if you're already a fucking loony, if you're already a loony, drink, bring that out in you. Not always. It's always a different day, isn't it? But the drink always stays the same. It's not the drink, it's you. It's a cunt. Sorry, but it brings out the, in some regards, this performance, this cycle of this, it kind of brings out a side of me that's, I'm like, so familiar. It's like going back to an old workplace. Just the feeling of it, you know, like going back to an eerie place. That's what this is.
Be going anywhere. Like, this guy is literally a f***ing crazy person.
But I feel like you guys are also looking at us like we're like, oh, like drunken girls.
We are fucking...
Not at all.
Isn't it a story? But you refuse to tell me the story.
No, because you guys are already on their side.
Stop telling me.
Your old mate is already on their
Stop
side.
telling me where you got
No,
picked up
because
from.
we don't trust you.
We got picked up. Where did we get picked up?
I have it
What
all
was
on
the
my
corner?
phone.
What
I
was-
have it
literally,
all on my
what was the
phone.
corner? We
I
can
have it
tell you
all
where
on
we
my
are.
phone.
Why would you withhold that information?
Because your friend out there
We didn't
has
withhold
already said...
anything.
She's not telling me. She's
No,
just
What do you
telling
mean?
me.
We'll pull it up right now.
I really hate to tell you, but I've had multiple.
There's one way of getting this
experiences
over.
with
And,
police.
can I just say, there's one way of actually getting this over and done with, where everyone can go home, is if you pay the £100 and the damage window,
£100.
the 60 quid for the fare and the £40 for puking up in the taxi.
Mate, we will pay that.
But then you've also got to pay for the damage window.
No, because the damage window is because of him keeping us hostage. And I've got it all on call.
Sir, do you actually think that we would do that on purpose?
I don't.
See, he just tries to do what the last cop did again. And again, they've just deflected it. Do you want to go home? And they're like, just go and get the tracking data.
Believe that at all, right? All I'm saying, right? I'm not saying I don't believe you. I don't believe him. I'm not saying
Why
that
do
at
you
all.
believe him?
We don't. We got to stay impartial. That's the role of the police. We got to stay impartial. All right. We're just
But
trying to
why
get
do you believe him?
We're just trying to get the most peaceful
But
peaceful
why
out.
do you believe him? Why are you saying we have to pay it instead of him being impartial for the fucking driving us around the city? I have 3 friends calling me, being like, are you okay? They seen us get into that taxi.
I can understand. I really do understand your frustration.
Sir, do you actually think that we would do that? Like, you think I would kick open a window for no reason?
Honestly, I don't know. I can honestly say I don't know because I don't know you. Right, like I don't know you, I don't know him. All I'm trying to do is get the most peaceful outcome. Right, so you two can go home. You can go home.
Believe him,
But-
a man.
He doesn't believe him. It's just facts. It's facts.
I think
We can only go off of what we see.
I think it's absolute shit. This whoever that guy is, not him, but this two right under here, like I'm gonna post this shit on Twitter.
Eve to me is basically freedom. It's a giant open universe where you
And I've just told
Eve is not freedom. Eve is slavery. That is not a free-to-play game. You're the fucking product. It's slavery. Don't play Eve. It's slavery. That's why it's free to play. But yeah, she's tweeting all this out. Terrible. I've been kidnapped. So she's new cop, right? Different one trying to reason with her. The other guy's left the room because he'd be like, "What the fuck?" Right? New cop. This angle is, oh, it's all going on Twitter. This. Not you, him. That one who's just gone out. You're all right, but him. You're saying that this woman hasn't actually harassed this guy and actually flexed on him with every trick she's got. I've got lots of money. I'm a famous person. I've got a social media following. I'm going to put this up on Twitter, make you look bad. Do you see as to the CPS when this has gone in? Because we get to see her get arrested for what transpires. It's in the video. Do you think she deserved to be arrested? Do you think she talked her way into an arrest here by just not listening to anybody and just dismissing everything that's been said to her? I think we're getting there. But at any stage, you'll put 22 minutes in, she could have just said, "Look, right, here's my bank details, paid," and it never come back. But she refused to. She took it all the way to court, won a jury decision, a jury verdict, having made it all about these white guys being racist and sexist. Can you believe this? It's amazing, isn't it?
I'm just trying to get the most peaceful outcome.
I know you
right?
are. I know and I understand. You've been the most understanding, but this taxi driver has held me and her hostage for about 50 minutes of our night. We were just going home.
I literally
like,
said to him,
So-
I was like, please let us out, and I will pay. I literally said, please let us out, and I will pay whatever you want. And
So
he
would you be
let us
willing to
out.
pay the amount?
No, but this was 2 hours ago. He would not let us out. Why don't you understand that?
He does understand it. He's
Like,
just, it's
Two
facts.
a year.
It's the
No,
facts.
listen. A year ago, a police officer
That's got no
arrested
bear-
a woman
that's-
and
that's
fucking
not gonna-
raped and killed her.
There's no bearing on that tonight.
I know, but
Right?
do you
So
not
can
understand?
you stop tarnishing
two females,
us with the same brush
I
as
don't.
one
I
bad
don't,
egg?
I don't. But
Alright.
do you not understand? Why are you tainting us with the same brush?
We're not.
So accept that this.
We're not.
Accept two words against one.
Can you listen? I'm assuming you two are dating because you did say that to me
has
earlier,
no
right?
bearing on-
Can you listen to her, please? Because she's trying to tell you. I am understanding what
I'm
you're
not
saying.
paying for some dodgy window. He deserves it.
He's
No, I'm not paying for it. I'll
I
sit
know.
here till 4 a.m. in the morning and get the Chelsea lawyers on these stupid.
Alright, we'll call them.
Now that mouthing off, right? If that case against her for criminal damage, if that had gone through, that mouthing off there would have been a matter of, right, you love need to plead guilty when it comes up, or you going to jail. Settle this as fast as you possibly can. Shut the fuck up and stop running your mouth. You've incriminated yourself. You're saying, fuck him, I'm not paying. Deserves it. You admit the criminal damage and you're also very blasé about it. But you fucking idiots would go to court and plead innocent when there's this. See yourself go to prison for criminal damage. Like, what a clown. What a clown, mouthing off like that. It's like, pay up 200 quid and go home. No. We want to make this day internet legend as to where this video's only got 44k views and it's the only full length one. The comments are amazing. Oh, hang on. Ha. Oh, no one's allowed to comment on this one. Most of these videos on this case, comments are disabled because people are saying, what a horrible cunt.
Yes, I'm not taking the brunt of this because this guy is in the wrong.
What you can do, right? If
I'm not bearing down. You will take him.
We've got two choices, okay? I'll tell you what the two choices are.
I'm not backing down. I will hold
We get
strong.
one. You get arrested for criminal damage, and you come to the police station. And
For
we have to
what?
ask you criminal damage,
Oh my god.
and maybe make.
What about
payment.
him?
Yeah, what
What about him? We want to press
Listen
charges on
listen to
him.
me. We've got that choice, okay? And then you get asked questions about it, and you say in your defence that you was kidnapped.
We
or
were held
whatever you
hostage
want-
by him. Yep, that's what we
whatever
want
you
to
want
do.
to say, but obviously you're gonna have to go through that the
Yep,
arrest.
that's what we want to
Okay.
do. 2 verse 1.
And then it'll be up to someone that'll make a decision, not me. It'll be someone that'll take your evidence and it'll take his evidence, and that'll be what's happened, and then a decision will be made of what to do from there. Option 2 is we'll be paying for the damage.
Yep, we want to take option 1.
Option 1.
We want him to and us 2 verse 1, and we want to go with it because he held us hostage.
All done, Sue?
Yep, and not just with your hair. With the help of Xero accounting software, I've sorted my numbers too. So now I can take my business anywhere.
What's your next?
Wherever we want.
100% medical grade
Sorry,
olive oil from Otex is
Make
now
me watch
available
this.
in a convenient spray.
That was crazy.
That was
Fucking ear spray. How does it know? How does it know I buy ear spray? I'm being spied on, man.
crazy.
Yeah.
I've never
Just to let
experienced
you
that in my
know-
life.
Just to let you know, okay, you're going to be in the police station for 24 hours.
Okay, great. Because I've got this all on recording and you're trying to
Are you recording?
I'm recording.
There you go. Threatening again. Real time. Trying to make them walk on eggshells. I'm recording all of this. Can we hear your recordings, please? If they're as good as this, fucking hell, someone's going to write a book about this.
to that. That was honestly so.
I've been recording for the last
so
about 20
crazy.
minutes.
You are holding us hostage and backing a man when two women
I'm just saying what
two
I've
women are
seen.
coming to you and saying we had to break out of a taxi.
We literally had to kick. I had to kick myself out of the
Little
taxi. Or we were
50 yards away from the police station when they decided to kick a taxi window out. They arrived. What if they filled themselves? Oh no, don't take us to the police. They're all rapists and murderers. These two people are fucking crazy. Look at all work mess they've made, all work they created with this nonsense. Just being entitled arseholes and victims. Vanessa's something bad's happened in the back of a taxi, so I've concocted a deluded victim narrative to cover over the fact that she's like shamelessly fucking chummed in the back of a taxi, and this is how it plays out. Like, there's a situation in this country as to where there's a lot said about a two-tier justice system. It's like, oh, you fucking don't see the half of it. It's like, which of the two tiers is this? This is a get out of jail free card played, and we win again every time someone, a black person, mouths off like this, right? Because she gets into the white privilege shit a few times. Whenever they get charged with it, they go to court, they always win. They always ask for a jury trial and they always give the same defence, and the same lefty lawyers always win for them. Same thing that goes on in the horrible divorce courts in America goes on in this country too. They always win. Always. But fortunately, sometimes when you win, you lose because the police just dob you in and put the video out in their defence. This is police body cam footage. insufferable wronging. Who's absolutely lethal from a yard out shooting into an open goal. Lethal.
We're knocking it out.
Yeah, you're going back to America Wednesday, I believe, is it?
Yeah, but I don't care.
Yeah, but I don't care.
Like you are
We had to
trusting.
break ourselves out of.
We've called 911. What more do we need?
I can understand that. I can understand your frustration, I really can.
What more do we need to call 911?
I thought you guys were supposed to like protect us.
You guys are meant to be on 911 side.
My blonde one's the one that made
Yeah,
the window
we've
up.
got to go back to America.
Yeah.
We got
She lives in Richmond.
Yeah, should have smashed the window.
You're not acting
So,
anymore.
love them.
Done. Shouldn't have smashed the window. That's the cops. See? The cops are still cops. His boss, two of them there. It's like you've made your mind up because it's like whose bag's this? It's the officer's, not the more senior guy who's just come in and said the same thing as the officer. So it's like, here, the boss has backed the cop as player, what are you doing? And he's like, she shouldn't have smashed the window. That's what you get from the cops, that's what you'd expect from them. They go with what's real. The actual crime, the offence, the thing that happened, the thing that can be understood. They go with what's actually happened and not the imaginary bullshit. So what happens next? It's funny. It's so funny because now, you know, the cops are now going to start playing. She's playing all these word games, right? All these are trying to basically pull every heartstring, play every angle, ultra dismissive, woman card, race card. Well, the cops come in now and they use some of their fucking word magic, and it's really good.
You're over
Just
talking to me. I'm just trying to work out what's going on. He says that you've failed to pay, and he's called the police, which he's shown me a recording.
Listen to the recording.
And he's come down to here, to the nearest street station, as he's been advised to do. There's obviously glass is over there, it's been broken, and you're trying to get out of the taxi here, okay?
Yes.
I understand, obviously, your side of the story is that you say you've been driven around and you've been kidnapped by him and he wouldn't let you out of the taxi. Alright?
Yes. I was trying to get out of the taxi. Yes.
Okay, but obviously, I have to act as independently as I can. And you say you called police, but you haven't got any reference or call or anything like that. And to me, it would be the first thing I'd do. Someone who's not letting me out of the taxi.
We're both international. We don't know the number.
I'm not American. I know it's not. I'm 911.
What?
For an emergency.
Just stop. She would call 911.
It doesn't matter what you call it, will take you through that.
No, even if you call 911, it'll take you through to.
But like,
I'm
sorry,
like,
but you guys are guys.
You can
These
either,
are guys. These are men. The only one we trust is that one in the back corner.
Or you can come spend the night with us, and we'll interview you, and we'll go through the process like that, and then you may have to go to court or whatever in the future. I don't know. It depends how far it goes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
We understand.
Okay.
We were
is it
just
the blonde
trying
lady
to
that
be
needs to do
protected.
it?
Yeah.
We were just trying to be protected.
Is that
That's
the
all.
plastic as well at front? Just leave it. Okay.
Can we? Is there a way to track the?
See the sobbing. You hear the sobbing, the big sobbing like a little kid. You hear it. We don't know who her mate is, but likely we're talking blue hair, aren't we, behind that? Because she's not named in the case, it's like they can't show her face. So it's like that sobbing like a little baby. It's just crocodile tears to the absolute nth, isn't it? The emotional shock of them not being able to handle anything and being crackpots and entitled has left them like emotionally fucking wounded. And not getting through to them, just dicks. Just absolute dicks. Sobbing like a little babe. We were kidnapped. No, you weren't. That's how one of them taxis works. You're in a London cab. They've got a light. You not see that light? What do you mean? We called 911, but that doesn't do anything. Well, we spoke to somebody. No, you didn't. You've tried to blag this guy. Threatened him. Fuck me. Just horrible. It's like, why? It's like, why? It's not, there's nothing, no victory to be won here. It's like, pay 200 quid. Fuck off home. Sleep it off. That's right. Go. You girls, we're going to go easy on you. If you'd have been a bloke and you'd have kicked out some guy in a taxi's window having puked in his car, you'd have already been transported to we wouldn't be talking now. You'd have been arrested. You'd have been up in front of a magistrate real soon for criminal damage. But no, we've kid gov Jim, we've sat and we've listened to you for half an hour. And it's all been very nice, but you're being arrested and charged with 2 crimes. And if you keep running your mouth and you go to court and you run your mouth like this, you could find yourself in prison if this is the way you operate. This is how dickheads end up, in prison, and then years later are saying they sent me to prison for nothing. It's like, no, you were massively foul of the system, didn't understand it, and talked yourself into a lot of trouble because you're an arsehole, a complete arsehole. That's what people end up in prison. You know, there's Tommy Robinson in prison. His prison odyssey started with him being dumb as fuck and mouthing off about things that he didn't know. Turning up at rape trials and saying, but I'm a journalist. It's like, yes, if you'd have said you're a member of the general public, it'd have been okay. But you've just said you're a journalist. You are in contravention of a court order. What? This is trying to cut down freedom of speech. No, we have these rules about court. No journalists are allowed. You just told me you're a journalist. If you'd have said, I'm just a dickhead activist, we wouldn't have arrested you. But you just said you were a journalist. And then the t-shirts come out. Arrested for journalism. Just thick as shit. Think they know or don't think to find out. And then play the victim and cry like fucking babies when there are rules, you know. You were ignorant to them, but you broke them, and that's no defence against them. I'm sorry. That's the way the law works. That's the way it's always worked. I didn't know about that law. This is a miscarriage of justice because I didn't know. That's like absolutely, completely against the spirit of the law. We're living in the fucking jungle if that logic holds. I don't get why people don't understand this procedural police shit. They show it on television all the time. How come when I've had it in the past where the police have come and had a word with me, there have been all kinds of silly things happened over the years. How come I never get took to the station, never get... Well, I'm a police informant. No, I'm not. When I get asked something, I don't freak out. And I don't react. I'm very polite. And I ask them what the business is. I've had my house raided looking for the guy who lived upstairs. Twice. I got a new back door once because the police broke it down. I needed a new back door. It was in a bad state. So it's like the police breaking it down did me a massive favour. They had to replace it. I've had the police burst in after a lad who lived in the flat upstairs, that was his last known address, and they'd turn up and they'd see my lights on and say, fucking hell, we got him. And break in and come and fucking arrest me. So I've had this quite a bit. 3 times. One time someone tried to use me as an alibi and put me on the hook for beating someone real badly. And I knew everyone involved. And the guy was able to escape having given my name and address. So they came to pick me up for an assault, and it's like, the guy who's assaulted lives in the next flat from me, and we can go and knock on his door if you want, and we'll ask him, was it me who battered him? And I've known him about 12 years. Well, we've got a warrant for you. Okay. Don't freak out. I regret not dobbing in the person who did it. Because once they'd worked out that someone had stolen my identity, they didn't go after anyone else for doing it. And the victim could tell you who did it, not the name that was dropped at the scene. Very, very easy to stage something and get away with it like that by, just in essence leaving somebody else's details behind. As that's the thing, giving the police the thing they need to find, and that be enough just to muddy the water. And then the police say, "Oh fuck it, it's now. He's only got a couple of broken ribs. Dropped, gone." And then it's a matter of, do I want to dob this guy into the police knowing that the first thing he'll do is come round and smash all my fucking windows and then tell a lot of lies about me and get me in a lot of trouble? Or do I want to keep my mouth shut and just pretend like it never happened? Now that'd be the great choices that people are given in life. In retrospective, I should have grasped the fucker and just see what happens. Let him play his fucking game and see what happens to him. Because all kinds of games get played. All kinds of games. The police often not interested enough to get to the bottom of something like that, even though it was a very, very easy case to solve. That one, someone got proper battered, and likely undeserved, and it'd be a matter of the nature of that beating would have been my mates. They're not mates of my people. I know. One of them's girlfriend was someone the other one was interested in, so he decided to beat his ass in front of her to show what a man he was. You know, those people. One of them incidents as to where she's more interested. A married man, obviously, but she's more interested in him than me. So I'm going to fucking snap his back in front of the old pub. And I came in to set about doing it, and I've carefully left my name as John Collins of 15 Cronkeshaw Road. Clever plan, actually, because the car he was in belonged to a guy who lived in the flat below me. So they had his number plate as well, and his number plate matched my address. So they're like, oh, the car's outside his house, that's his car. Just enough subterfuge to make the case a nonsense, and then it just all disappeared. Police had to investigate whether I was the bad guy or not, and it took them, and they took the time, and it took them about 15 minutes. And I actually myself, for when it happened, had an alibi that was absolutely ironclad. I'd won the quiz night in the pub the night before. So you can go and get me sheet with my answers on if you want. Yeah, I've had loads of ins and outs with cops where it's been we've come to get you and stuff, you know. So no, mistaken identity. I'm not that person. You see, if you don't do things as to there'd be a reason why the police be at your door. Although once I got the police sat in a car outside my house for hours. And someone on Facebook had said, I'm going to get you in trouble with the police. And it was not over anything, actually. It was something I'd implied. I knew she was not, so I implied something. And she took it as a threat. And she called the police on me. And the police were sat outside the back of my house, like looking at Facebook, saying, he's not done anything here, this guy. He's not said anything. There's nothing actually here that's what she said it is. And they just drove away in the end. And I'm looking at them. And they're looking at me through the window. And she's on Facebook saying, I've called the police on you. And I was like, yeah, they're here. Well, they've just looked at the post and I haven't done anything. Yeah, she said she wanted to over something and nothing. You know, something about climate change or something. Person said, I'm going to confront you and tell you to your face, you know, why you're wrong and whatnot. So I just gave her my address. I just typed it in straight in there. Boom. There's my address. Turn up. And so, one, if you turn up, you'll leave missing something you'll really need in the future. And she called the police on me. I could have meant anything. I think she seemed to think I meant her teeth. One of her eyes, something like that. I knew she was not, so I just left it open, knowing that she'd take the bait. And the next thing you know, the old police are sat in the car outside my house. Oh, wondrous people. It's like entitled, seeming to think that the law is a weapon that they can unleash on other people. And then when they unleash the law, because this is what happened in the first, what triggered this incident. They've pretended to call the police, and so someone's called the bluff and called the police. It's similar. It's actually similar in some ways to that Caroline Rack thing. Of all the people who ever made a video about that so-called scandal, I was the only person who actually understood what happened. Unless someone like the black belt barrister took it on. But most people, the press deliberately muddied the water in that story, and it's something completely altogether different. I think I summarised it in a previous video, so I'm not going to talk about it again. But it's like, when you call the police or you invoke them, you don't get to uninvoke them. If you start to mouth off, I'm calling the police, and they say, well, I'm calling the police, and they actually fucking do it, that's where you end up with me with a record of a non-crime hate incident, right, where I've apparently trained, right, this chihuahua, right, to harass one of my neighbours. And he said it was like antisocial, angling towards having my dog put down. I'm going to get you in trouble. I know how I'm going to do it too. You'll regret having mouthed off to me. What was my great sin there? Well, he was a guy who lived in the shittest flat in Rochdale who were trying to tell me that only weeks ago he was someone who was earning £50,000 a week. And I didn't believe him and raised an eyebrow, and he suddenly took a terrible dislike to me for not believing his terrible lies. Made an enemy of me. And then, not so long later, played a load of fucking games calling the cops on me about my dog. Trying to get me in trouble. And then he abandoned the flat, having never once paid a penny in fucking rent. How do I know this? Well, he's one of these idiots with a Ring doorbell, so the conversation he had with the council was public. I could just sit in my living room and listen to it. Like, the fucking people in this place, the people you run into, crazy as fuck, and it'd be a matter of, that second you sniff something about the story that's absolute fucking bullshit, as to say, oh, you've gone from £1 million a year and more to living in the shittest flat in Rochdale. Okay, I'm to believe that. Are you for real? Like, yes. Oh, the ex-wife did you real bad, left you without a pot to piss in. Absolutely. So you're on a flat that always gets pretty much given because of the allocation point system to whoever's the biggest fucking loony in the town, based on the point system as to where if you diagnose mentally ill, you go straight to the top of the housing list. You're another one of them nutters, aren't you? Yes, you are. The one that came after was exactly the same. Biggest fucking nutter in the town, because they're at the top of the list. Council have moved me into this place, and it was a matter of I find out that the people who have lived here previously have been absolute fucking maniacs, who've had criminals round here and been gangsters mall type women who've been involved with thieves and drug dealers and stuff like that, who've brought all the trouble in the world to this place. Council moved me in here because I got myself a neighbour from fucking hell, the last one they laid on me. And they put me in here because it's like, oh, you're not crazy. You'll help this block. We know you're not mental, so you do you want to move in here? It's like, we can rely on you not to be insane. Oh yeah, do you want to move here? It's like, yeah, everyone who's lived here is crazy. The neighbours fucking hate us. The neighbours hate us because we keep dumping mental patients on them. So, would you like to live here? It's like, well, yeah. This is a better place to live than where I lived before. Much better. But say it's like that. Got that awarded me almost by being a normal person in the face of absolute fucking insanity, which is something that my landlords face on a daily basis because of the point system, where people who are on the books as being fucking psychos go straight to the top of the housing list. So eventually, in the end, all of their tenants are fucking psychos. Or nearly all. Because they are the ones who get the tenancies because their conditions put them to the top of the list. So, you know, in the future, expect trouble with your tenants. Why? Because they're all fucking psychologically disturbed. Because it ticks a box that puts you at the top of the list. Just saying.
The taxis.
Well, that'd be
Well,
part of our
that's what we're looking
investigation.
into.
Yes, can we please do that? Because
Yeah.
that would prove a lot.
We would look into that, obviously. It's
I'll go and
Yes,
speak to
that's
him
what
about that.
all we wanted to do was be
Level.
protected. That's it.
Level.
Listen to the recording
Level.
and the.
I'm going to go and speak to him, see if we can get that information.
Oh, for fuck's sake, Wicks.
Turn your best idea.
on the eye.
House husband. He's home looking after baby while his wife plays centre forward for Chelsea. Oh, sorry. Only lesbians play for professional women's football.
No.
Yeah, please.
Level.
What's that?
Nothing.
Yeah, no. They think we can do it, that's why.
Which one?
We're going to get around it.
No, I don't either. Unless they pay the money now, and that's
We're
it.
not going to pay money.
I know.
You sorted that option.
Yeah, we need a lawyer because these. Don't call them. They're not all. Yeah, the guy up in the one.
These cops are all what? Beep.
Yeah, we're gonna check our phone because that guy was delusional.
Is he still there? Yeah.
Yeah, you're still there.
You a statement from him as well?
Oh, I did a victim statement.
So the cops have taken a, because of the nature of this as it came to them, this process, they've let the other guy go. They've taken a victim status, victim statement from him. He's actually out of the loop now. This crime is on the books. These people having absolutely no idea that they got themselves into trouble. And their emotional state is something that justify anything they do. Fantastic. This is these are that Axel, murdering Axel, bad Axel. Interrogating him be something like this. Same personality, same basic personality disorder, same flaw that created the beast. Do not listen to anyone. No matter what you say, your word means nothing, because my feelings mean more than your facts. And this thing you're waving in my face and calling reality, I don't care about it, therefore it's not real. And I've got money and I've got lawyers, and you better watch yourself.
Trying to get a female to the search and can't really know what it is.
Well, that's good.
Are they even in there? Imagine they're all out and about in there.
There's someone been moving around in there.
Oh, okay, there you go. It might be the governor.
Nick was on Minimus as well.
Oh, was he? Oh, okay.
I'm going to keep my own name.
Yeah, of course.
Are we held by arrest?
Not yet.
Well, when are we going to be held by arrest?
We're waiting for a van to get here.
For what?
We're waiting for a van to get here to transport you to this, because there's no custody at this police station. So we need to
Just a little chink of reality just shines in just for a second. Oh, we're waiting for a transit van for you now. Oh yeah, you're being processed. You're going to come out of being processed thinking, I've had my human rights violated. I've known people wait 16 hours to get processed. 16 hours. And it usually be a matter of what you did. And if you've been accused of something really bad, but you didn't do it, I'd admit 16 hours he was held in isolation. 16 hours. And his wife, he's a crazy girlfriend. I won't say his wife because she's not his wife. His crazy girlfriend attacked him with a knife and cut all his hands to bits. And left him going to, and needing medical attention. And then the day after, the police came and picked him up for her accusation that she'd done to him. No, that he'd done to her exactly what she'd done to him. Police came, arrested him. locked him up 16 hours. They don't like domestic abusers. They don't like tearful women on the phone talking about he came at me with a knife. They treat it really seriously. So they locked him up for 16 hours to then later even let him speak. His side of the story is to say, I've literally just got home from the hospital and you've arrested me. Well, that's the thing. That's something that I know about. Did anything happen to her for the false police report? No, did it fuck? She's a card-carrying loony. She's on the radar of every authority. They just let it go. They just, no, don't know anything about that. Why? She just claimed that her mental illness makes her unaccountable. So they just let it go. I know a woman in Preston who's committed arson twice, and it's been a police matter, and on both occasions they just let it go because she's got borderline personality disorder. Arson. She's burnt other people's property in their house, and only by pure act of God has she had not burned someone's house to the fucking ground. Twice arrested, never charged, let go, all forgotten. Plays the mental illness card. They pull a file and it's like, yeah, she's a fucker for stabbing people as well. Never seen the inside of a jail cell. Two-tier society. More like 5-tier. There's a tier of people that are at all levels of the game who are above the law. Completely above the law. The only time that any bad really happens to them is if they commit what we would call a category A offence. Other than that, it's just a matter of, and women, no, they don't go to jail unless they kill people. Not so long, Manchester, wasn't there? There was a story of when people with lefty lawyers, when people start to get lefty lawyers and judges, people start to really get interested in that. They'll start looking at the judges at Minshull Street in Manchester. I mean, the most ridiculous fucking people in the world. There was a woman got away with curb stomping someone. Somebody else put the guy's face on the curb and she stomped him. And she didn't go to jail. Curb stomping. She got a suspended sentence. There was a woman in centre of Manchester stabbed a man in the eye. He nearly lost his eye. Cut his eye, scraped it up, fucked it right up, permanently damaged his sight. Stabbed a guy in the eye with the heel of a stiletto shoe because he offered her a crisp at a taxi rank. And she didn't go to prison. She tried to kill him in a momentary whatever it was. She tried to kill him and she didn't do a single day of prison. Her excuse as to being so afraid of a stranger that she lashed out in self-defence because he offered her a crisp was accepted as mitigation. And mind as you go. No punishment whatsoever. Gone. Yeah, we accept you did it, but what you did was acceptable. Oh yeah, we've got some of the best fucking judges in the country looking at these cases in this part of the world. It's like 2-tier. Fucking 12-tier. Keep adding on tiers because it's a matter of 2-tier. It doesn't lend enough to the inconsistency of the whole fucking thing. I keep weighing up that Lucy Letby thing because I've already analysed that once as if she did it. But the notion that she may be innocent and in essence has just been blamed for a catalogue of failures by many people, that's a terrifying concept. I don't really give a fuck, so it's a matter of if information comes along that says, hang on, this ain't safe, the expert opinions are biased, which appears to be true. And also expert opinions that of people who didn't think she did it were used as evidence for the prosecution, which is a bit cheating. You twisted the story. So it's like, say Lucy Letby, it's like, where did she stand trial? Where basically the case against her, hearsay was allowed. That it's like the whole case is an innuendo, but it's a big innuendo. It's an innuendo with a lot of facets, but it's only an innuendo. It's not. They've not actually made a case against her, Lucy Letby, and they still turn her down. They've got a lot of suspicions, and she worked there, so her fingerprints are on everything. There's a possibility that the whole case against her is flawed because the sort of death, the way that these kids have died, are consistent with all kinds of different things. So it could be that she's been used as a scapegoat to cover a multitude of failures and sins, and the multitude of failures and sins, to someone like me who's like, these institutions are really very, very terribly flawed, at the same time as being invaluable and brilliant, they are terribly flawed. And the people who work for the NHS are a mixed bag of party girls who are full of ketamine, right, to vegetarians who cycle to work every day. Every walk of fucking life works together in the NHS in a big way. But it's a diversity. Well, they're not fucking kidding about that. So there's a lot of people who work for the NHS who are thieving on the fiddle. I was once in last time I was hospitalised, that was down to getting overexerted through fatigue because of my wonderful neighbours. I was basically been kept awake for 3 days by people playing music 24 hours a day. And in the 2-week estate to take them on and the gigantic fucking illegal dog they had. It was a lot of fun at the time. Not long since out of hospital, you know what I mean? But last hospitalised, there was while I was in what would be they take me to the treatment room. I don't have to go on straight away when I get called in. I skip the queue and go right to the front of the queue at casualty when I go to hospital. And I'm lying there in a treatment room, and I'm listening to the doctors and the people in charge at the time talking about basically drugs that are on the list but aren't in the cabinet. Missing stuff. And it were morphine. It was good stuff that it's never rubbish that goes missing. It's always like pain meds, and it's a matter of me listening in what I left it as. It's like they were just going to ignore it. Oh well, one of those things. We'll just log it down in the book. Nothing to do with us. We'll just tell them this has gone missing, and then we'll just leave it at that. And the way the tone of the place was, everyone was too afraid to accuse anyone of fucking up or stealing. Everyone was far too afraid. That possibility couldn't enter their heads that there was someone who was a thief amongst them. So they decided to pretend there wasn't and just carry on. But I'm listening in and I'm thinking, some like proper drugs that are worth a fortune on the street go missing from the fucking casualty, from the A&E, and it's like I'd be calling the cops right now. Sat there listening to this conversation, and the notion of calling the police be something that was never ever even thought about. So I started opening and shut case. You call the police. Someone's stolen a load of morphine. Not a word uttered. And that's exactly what that was. Police matter, but NHS internally made it go away. Or I don't know the end of the story. Maybe it didn't go away. Maybe something happened the next day because it was overnight. But level of urgency and right action shown didn't exist. They were all far too nice for anyone to get into any trouble. It's like the NHS in their way like that are vulnerable to all nature of fucking charlatans and thieves. Really vulnerable. And the most vulnerable workers in this country work for the NHS and hospitals. You're the ones who were the probably the right in the line of fire to get fucked with, accused of all sorts. Be ones again who can't turn a job down when someone turns out to be a fucking raving lunatic. So hard. Let's finish this off.
Somewhere else. Oh, okay. And we need to get a female officer to search you before you go into the back of the van. Which is
So
what
can
we
we leave?
Not yet. If you do leave, we'll just be arrested.
By who? For what?
Myself for criminal damage.
Of what?
The window and the plastic in the back of the taxi.
And can we arrest him for hostage?
We can make lines of inquiry about that, but we can't do that because we can't take him to the same police station as you.
Or can we please make a hostage for hostage?
That'll be done at a later date.
Or can we please...
You can make an allegation of that, but we need to do what was in front of us now, right?
So can we please make allegations of that?
You can do that when you go to custody.
It's like you're under arrest for criminal damage, and she says, why isn't he getting arrested for kidnapping? Or is she, what does she call it, arrestage? Fucking Aussies. She is terrible. She confirms every negative stereotype ever drawn up by an Englishman about an Australian. Cowards, fucking whack 'em hard enough, they don't get up. When it matters, when the chips are down, they ain't got the guts. Cowards. And they're perfectly balanced individuals based on the fact they've got a chip on each fucking shoulder. That's what people say about the Australians. And she proves a very sort of almost hilariously damaging caricature absolutely true with her arrestage. What a fucking moron.
They speak to you there, you'll be able to make a allegation
Why
there.
can he make that, but I saw...
Could you, if that's right?
Sure.
Thank you. About it.
There's nothing I can do about it.
This is up by like the man's... like, the man gets of course.
I do stand by my colleague's judgment.
What?
What, that we did something wrong?
No, that you have committed criminal damage by kicking out the window.
What
Alright.
did you want me to do? Like, did you just want me to sit there and like?
I never said that.
Like I was gonna like get home.
Like,
I never said
especially
that.
after what happened last year with that girl at Clapham.
That holds no bearing on what happened tonight.
What did you guys actually expect me to do? Like, just hope that I was gonna get home?
Stay on the phone to police.
We did hold
They hung up on me.
They hung up on us. Listen to the calling.
Okay, but where is, unfortunately, no record, because I've asked.
Okay, so we call no record. What do you want us to do?
Did you call on your phone?
Did you stay on the phone long enough to even speak to someone?
They hung up on us.
Okay, but they wouldn't do that, though.
Oh my god.
They wouldn't do that.
Same conversation as they've had 3 and 4 times before, just going round in a circle. How long these coppers stand for that? If it had been me, second time round, they'd just fucking been like, right, just lock the cunt up, forget it. They have to play with kid gloves. They won't let you get away with this. It'd be a matter of, nah, mate, we're not talking to you anymore because you're not listening. You're going in the back of the van and we'll see how you feel in 12 hours. Maybe you'll have sobered up by then. Fucking hell.
You should have spoken to
You
the...
guys are stupid and white. Honestly, you guys are stupid and white.
Okay.
Why are you bringing
I'm
race
looking you
into
in the
this?
eyes. Like that's
She's bringing race into this because she's not winning and she wishes to deliberately provoke a reaction from them. That's why she brought race in. She'd flung it around a little and then she brings it in at the end because she wants to strike back at these people. Now again, in her defence, she said she had to do this because she felt threatened, and to feel safe, she starts to verbally abuse these white men. Makes it all about race. And he's now, in the eyes of these coppers who probably don't give a fuck that she plays for Chelsea and is this big shot, don't really care about that. They're like, okay, this is not been a shut case of criminal damage anyway. You're not cooperating with us. It's the only thing that they're there to judge for. This conversation could have lasted 2 minutes. She only had to listen. All she had to do is listen to what the police said and paid the £200 and gone home. This could have been over at minute 6, but we're at minute 32. And now she's trying to deliberately provoke the police into something she can probably use. And she did. She won her case based on this defence that she's now deploying. This won her a case. She made it about race. So it becomes about race, and because it was about race, she takes it to court. She's able to get herself a lefty lawyer who plays it all based on race, and she gets off with it. But this video ends up in the public domain. Was it worth it? No. I think her reputation's history. I think at the age of like 32, I think her career's over. You think this idiot's going to do so well coming back from that serious fucking knee injury that she's actually carrying in this picture? To where she's not really doing such a good job of looking after herself in view of the fact that she's on millions of pounds a year to play football. It doesn't appear that she's taking staying fit to do the job very seriously at all. If I was her bosses paying her money, I'd be questioning as to how she's ended up in a police station at 3 a.m. having puked up in the back of a fucking taxi when she's supposed to be recovering from injury. Going out having a drink, drinking and fucking around. It's not conducive. It's not really conducive to recovery if you're being paid. She's paid a contract, isn't she? For a year. It's like all of it. Not just when you're playing. It's like Chelsea fancied getting rid of this one, which at this moment in time, transfer value in view of the fact she's injured and a dickhead is fucking likely zero. Who's going to want to sign this up? Bullying lesbian in your changing room. It's like you've probably already got a few already. Do you want another one? But this one's a big shot because she's like at one time been rated the best player in the world. Because in women's football, goalkeepers drop balls right in front of you and you get to roll them into back at empty net. Fucking lumbering idiot defenders don't bother marking. Women's football is like the easiest form of the game. Easier than men's club. Men's club, you might get hurt. Men's club, someone might surprise you. Women's football, no one's surprising you.
Stupid. I'm over it. This is the world problem. Wait on the call. Wait on the call. Wait on the call.
Alright, I'll go at the moment then at 317.
I'm
You're
looking
under arrest
up
for criminal damage because there's an allegation that you
Alright,
smashed
sir.
a taxi
Sir.
window. You're also under arrest for racially aggravated public order.
No,
for the
you
apology
guys
you
are
said.
I'm
So
recording
the
this whole thing.
That's fine. The reason
Like,
for your
we
arrest
can
was
make
for
an
prompt and effective
agreement.
investigation
If you want-
and to prevent any
Alright,
further
babe.
harm or prevention of disappearance.
Sir.
You don't have to say anything that may harm the defence. Do not mention when questioned, such later on in the court. Anything you do say may be evidence.
Sir.
317.
Sir, listen to us. We're making the
You're under
agreement.
arrest anyway, so anything you do say is all under caution now, okay?
Okay, thanks, buddy.
Sir, please.
Just believe
Please,
women.
just, like,
for once.
believe us.
Believe women for once.
Believe women for once. And then the other one started blubbing again. Believe women for once, she says. That's all she's got. Believe women for once. Fucking scumbag. Immediately just, all right, one tactic's not working. Oh, we'll go back to feel. I get them trying to get me feel sorry for me now. oh, that's not working right, we'll go back to calling them misogynistic and saying that, you know, well, you're a man, where would you know? Just pivot.
That's what happened last time.
We're not trying to cause.
We're
So,
literally.
if you could come off your phone now, because you're under arrest and you've got
That's
this, that, there. Okay, you can sit there recording it, that's fine, but you can't go on your phone. Okay, go on your left, alright?
We're literally trying
He's
to
just
tell you how
arrested
scared we
the
are.
one in the
We're
corner
so
for
scared.
actually aggravated public order.
Women are so scared.
For calling us
She's
what?
under arrest anyway for it,
We're
if you
so
want to
scared.
do this one as well, unless you want to do it.
Women are so fucking scared. It's sad.
Right, obviously based on what I told you, okay, you're going to be arrested for criminal damage, okay, security. You do not have to say anything. Make
Control
offence
file.
of the ommission of impression of
Sir, please,
anything
I
you do say may
understand
be
what
given
we're
evidence, okay. And I want to explore that.
Women are so
Females,
scared.
semi-common compliant, one for criminal damage, one for racial aggravated public order and criminal damage.
Women are so scared. It's sad, but whatever. I'll always back my girlfriend. Women are so scared. I would just say that. Women are so scared.
Are you guys upset with the guy outside?
Yeah, a girlfriend's a fucking flaky crackpot. Probably ridden every fucking dick on one coast of America and then become a lesbian, like the rest of them. Fucking crackpots. And at the end, just the eternal victim. I'm now. It's not about her. It's about all women, which I've adored that. Ever since I was first introduced to that as a child, that suddenly it's about all women. You just hate women. You know, no, you've stolen my money. No, you just hate all women. It's like, it's not about that. They make it about that. It's about them being fucking psychos who will say anything to get what they want. If you are someone who can be swayed by any of these associations or fixations or there are fanciful associations, you're allowing someone to use witchcraft on you, full on, in your face, invoking powers from well outside this room, and trying to bring down the wrath of imaginary things on you. Really? As long as you got people like this, you can't have this two-tier system they've got where they make allowances for certain people, because people will pretend to be those certain people, and it's the only tactic they ever need. It's a passport to riches. I mean, they'll end up miserable fucking cat women, these two. They're dicks, aren't they? It's like they're only good for each other. No man would stand for that mouth. Not for long. No man stand for that mouth. That kind of behaviour is the story behind, I don't know, half of all divorces, maybe more. I just can't fucking win here. She's gone off on one and nothing I say even registers. And I'm in the wrong when she's cheated on me. She's coming at me with a vase because she cheated on me. She's cheated on me, yet she's trying to get me in trouble with the police because she cheated on me. It's like, welcome to the world of crackpottery, and where that world meets the justice system. It's like the justice system decides it's something different than what it is, and you've got that knowing little kid grinning, use the system against you. Like, using institutions to abuse people for you is a big part of what those who fucking ruined this country do. All this shit's in place to save people getting sued by cunt lefty lawyers making everything about race and sex and sexuality. And the more of it there is, the more money they make, an endless gravy train, and the biggest twats in the world just play the game of ticking the boxes and collecting the prizes. fuck this. Can this be the one that comes out and you're like, oh well, yes, yeah, she just does whatever the fuck she wants, doesn't she? And her hurt feelings be enough so she can win this. Because the thing is, the offence is the way she's run her mouth at the police. That's the offence. And she didn't just run her mouth about race. She threatened them in every other way that was available to them as well. She abused those guys. And for a court to say she didn't, it just proves we live in a fucking, just a third world country where no one knows shit.